back to the ghost story here. I forgot to mention I was going down this path, but I skipped it. So I said I set up a camera in my bedroom. So I wake up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock every morning. I've woken up to people knocking on my nightstand, the floor, all that stuff. So I set up the camera. I wake up and like I have it set up perfect in the corner. You can see my whole bed. You can see the doorway. You can see the closet that's a mirror, so you can see the other side of the bed where the camera can't get, and you can see my bathroom. So I get up one night. I'm like, man, something like hit me, whatever, woke me up.
Wow.
I use the bathroom. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this in the morning. I watch the camera, nothing. So I was like, all right. A couple nights go by, and I'm just like, all right, what the fuck? Something definitely woke me up. Like, I'm not imagining it. I swear something hit me in the head. So I get up, I use the bathroom. You can see me taking a leak on the camera and come back. So as I watch the footage play back, you see from above my head, an orb come down towards my head, shoots down to like the end of the bed, shoots over to the passenger side of the bed, and then shoots straight up to my forehead, and then straight up to the ceiling. Right? So then you see me get up within 30 seconds. I get up. You can see me in the bathroom taking a leak. And as I'm taking a leak, this thing's like, haha, got him, haha. And then as I come out of the bathroom, gone. And then that's it. You don't see him anymore.
Right.
Because I watched the camera for like another 2 hours after that. There was nothing. And I was like, what the fuck?
Holy crap, that is insane.
All right, Pax, you gotta sit. You want to be on my podcast, my sexy podcast? You want to be on my sexy podcast? Yeah. Okay, everybody, welcome.
This episode has been brought to you by Sliquid Lube, natural intimate products from sliquid.com. Check them out on YouTube at Sliquid Intimate for 6 tips on better oral and all about their flavored lube. Follow Sliquid on Twitter at Sliquid. A big shout out to CEO Dean Elliott on Twitter at Sliquid CEO for giving me 2 different packages of his amazing Sliquid lube. I also love the Sliquid t-shirts and the fun Sliquid stickers. Thanks from everyone at Maxine X Productions. Warning. This video contains adult language and is not suitable for children.
I accepted, so I was like, all right. All right, everybody, I want you guys to meet my good friend, my friend I've known since near the beginning of my model career, is Jeff Deernuts.
Hello, Maxine. How are you?
Good, I'm great. I'm so happy to see you. I miss you.
I know. It's good to see your smile.
I want everybody to know, like, where we met and everything. So we're going to talk about where we met. You know, you can meet the best friends and the long-term friends in the most unusual places.
Yes, that is true. So we met, that was like 2002 or 2003 at Fetish Con down in Florida. It was their first year down there in Tampa.
Yeah, it was their first year. I remember the first time I was there, I got a flyer that literally said this was their first year in Florida. The other years it was in New York, or their other year. I think it was just 1 year in New York. And and they used to be called BonCon.
Yeah.
Right. And then so it was fascinating because it was my first Fetishcon event. And so I'm reading about the history of it, and I'm basically near the beginning of their history. So now, fast forward to 2021. Oh my God, 19 years I've been going to Fetishcon, which is also 19 years that I've been a model because I started my fetish modeling career just before I went to Fetishcon. So right before I went to Fetishcon, I was just doing things with Scott, some just couple things, and we were in the fetish community in Toronto, and then eventually he would look up fetish parties to go to. So we went to a couple in Toronto, we went to a couple not in New York, we went to one in Buffalo.
Yep.
And then he found Fetish Con on the internet. And he's like, do you want to go to Florida? I found this awesome event that's going on. It's a fetish event. So we were just a couple playing with rope and bondage and kink and stuff. And we were so new at it, but we were just doing it in the bedroom. And then started playing with the camera and all that stuff. And then I was like, I wanted to be a model. So one of the first fetish shoots I did was it's the Bondage Channel. Do you remember the Bondage Channel?
Yeah.
So I did that right before I went to Fetish Con. And then after that, I did a bunch of other fetish shoots. And I started to meet like all my fetish friends there. And I just felt like I was at home.
It was awesome there.
So tell me how you discovered going to Fetish Con.
Well, so we got to back up a little bit. So I got into the lingerie side of the business. Right. And basically because of a girlfriend that I was getting ready to propose to, we went to the movies. And one of the movies, it was XXX. And the girl was dancing on the bed rail and her lingerie. She got so pissed off and like, that's it. We were done. I was just like, you're breaking up with me over a girl wearing lingerie on a movie. I was like, talk about jealousy issues.
What?
So
because of the movie?
Yep. So after that, I said, you know what? As a little FU, can we swear on here?
Yeah, you can swear, of course.
All right. So as a little fuck you, I actually got injured on my job like maybe 6 months later, and I took a new job and I became a CEO of an online marketing company. Wow. And I'm looking at all these different companies, seeing what they're doing, what they're making money. And I said, you know what? Yeah, I should do a lingerie business. This is like a screw you. You know what?
Oh, yes.
You broke up with me over that. I'm going to make money off that and screw you. You know?
Sorry.
So I started a website with the online marketing stuff I knew. And my first year, I did awesome. And then all my customer base was basically Florida. Like everybody from Florida was finding me. And so I looked up events. I was like, hey, what's going on in the world? What kind of events are there? So I found Fetishcon online. And there was some website that like listed all the fetish events going on in the world. I can't remember it. I think it's still up.
I think that's where Scott might have found it, but go on.
Yeah, so like, I was like, all right, cool. Never been there before, never been to an event before. I'm looking at what my customers are ordering. I was like, I guess I'll bring some of these, some of that, some of this. And, I didn't know what I was doing. So I ordered like all the wrong stuff, all the wrong shit. And, so my first year, I sold like nothing. I probably sold like $200 worth of stuff there. But all the contacts I made there, from all the models, all the dominatrixes, like all the contacts there, everybody was awesome. Stacy Burke, that was my first year meeting her, some other people that kind of shied out of the industry, but huge names, and I became friends with everybody, because I wasn't really into the kink per se then. Okay. But I mean, hey, for anybody listening, if you like women or men, doesn't matter, whatever your flavor is, go to a fetish event, because let me tell you something. Yeah, it's nice. you see women, men walking around in like nothing, scantily clad, and it's awesome to go. It's awesome to be there. Everybody has fun. Everybody is awesome, just nice as could be, and they're there to learn events and stuff like that. They have classes so you can learn about rope, whatever you want to learn about. So it's an awesome experience. If you've never been, make sure to go to one.
Well, Nisa says there's going to be one coming up. Nisa says put it on your calendar.
Didn't they just postpone that in Fetishcon, or is it another one?
Not for this event, but the following. So
yes.
What did she say? She told me. Was it 2022?
Yep, 2022 is what they're doing now.
Yeah.
So
put it in your calendar. So no, this event was like basically I found my crew. Like I found where I belong.
I'm already Fetishcon, so hope to see you all there. We are going to the pool party at Fetishcon right now. It's so fucking loud. It's over there. Oh my god, it's so crazy. That's Ashley Fires. I love that hot bitch. Yeah! Hey, it's me, Stacy Burke and Maxine X. We're at Fetishcon 2007.
I found it was like, especially if you're playing around in fetish and we were playing around in fetish as a couple, and we were trying to find, we went to a fetish party in Toronto and one in Buffalo, and we didn't feel like it was our crowd or something didn't click. But when we went to Fetishcon, everything clicked. Everything was like, wow, this is amazing. Everybody was so friendly. Everybody was so awesome. You see the sexiest people that you wouldn't think that would just be like so down to earth, and they're all down to earth, and you meet this friend and that friend, and then you're going to this party, and you're getting tied up here, you're doing a convention here, you're doing shared content, you're making money, so it was. And
it's people from all over the world. That's what's the awesome part about it,
Yeah, and even Europe, not just North America, which is really cool.
So, and then I think the last one I was at, there was a bunch of people from South America, Russia, Germany.
Wow.
So it grows and definitely gets a lot of people.
I hadn't been in a while. And then of course, like so much was going on, because during that period of time, I also had to choose, sometimes I had to choose for trips, because I also wanted to go to AVN in Vegas. So I'm getting ready for
Check. Yeah. This is gonna go viral.
Doing the video? Okay, wait, that's my video.
So I started liking going to AVN in Vegas as well. And so sometimes you have to pick and choose what year you're going to be doing. And sometimes you can't do both events. And because big travel costs, especially when you're coming from Canada and stuff. So, but we met, I think, during the time where I was one of the guests of honors during Fetishcon, because I did guest of honor 2 years in a row, which was awesome. And it's just like I felt like I made it. I started there, and then I made it to guest of honor.
Yeah.
And I got my name on the
wall there. Yep.
The book, and I was like, yes. And I was on the list. Like I used to look up online, and I used to go, what models are attending? What producers are attending? Cause that's the good thing about that convention is you can literally plan ahead, and you get excited for it. So you're like, oh, Fetishcon's coming, and then people start adding their names, what models are coming, you see what producers are coming. And you get ready to hang out with friends and have fun, and then shoot with each other, and see if you can make some money with a producer who might want to shoot you. So it was just the best time. And me and Nisa were talking about it too, in my last podcast. So I still have it on the brain. And I remember meeting you, and you were just you and I just became friends so easily. We're hugging. You gave me this cute little lingerie, and it was some fishnetty kind of fluorescent.
Yeah, that fluorescent green or something. Yeah.
Look what Jeff gave me! Oh my god, this thing is awesome! And it's sexy.
Yeah. Hey, when you got good friends, you know, you got to hook them up.
And then it's fun to like still like talk to some of the good friends that we met there and stuff. So it's exciting. So okay,
Yeah.
now I want people to first question. Why Deernutz? What's the nickname?
So, do you want the perverted reason?
This is the perverted one. This is Diary Maxine X.
All right. So, like, you know, my cousin would say that because I have some Indian blood in me, that I would have to like go hunt a deer, kill the deer, and then like eat its balls or something crazy like that. So yeah, so like he made up some like outlandish story like that, and that's why they call me Deernutz, you know? Because what else is under a buck, you know? So no, it's just really back, like way back high school. I was playing some pool at some friend's house, and they tried pronouncing my last name. So they kept screwing up, and they were like deer sack. So they called me deer sack for like a couple of days, and then they're like, nah, Deernutz sounds better, and it's just stuck, you know, and that was it.
That is too funny.
So and then like I was introduced to Hugh Hefner as Deernutz.
Shut up! You did not meet. What?
Yeah, that was like.
Story. Tell me it.
Well, so that's another story for another time. But
Tell me now.
So one of the girls I went to high school with actually became a Playboy bunny, and I introduced her to Playboy. So I was in the fire department. Well, I still am, but getting out.
Nice.
So we had Playboy magazines laying around. She's like, what's this? And I said, well, it's just, you know, like a elegant way to display women, you know, in a sense. So she opened it up and she was like just fascinated by it.
Me too.
And she was just like, I want to be a Playboy bunny. So she made her way all the way up. When she was in college, she did like the college cuties or whatever it was, or hotties. She was in that like 3 or 4 times in a row. And then she would go out to the Playboy Mansion all the time for parties. So she invited me, where the heck was that? Vegas? I think it was in Vegas. And
awesome.
So I went out to Vegas, hung out with her. And like, you know, she didn't even tell me that we're going to meet him. But she knew that like, you know, whatever club that she was going to, he was supposed to show up. And sure as shit, here's Hugh Hefner. Wow. And like, she's like, oh, I half, you know, giving him big hugs and stuff. And she's like, oh, this is my friend Deernutz. and he kind of looked at me and like, Deernutz, huh? You know, nice to meet you. Yeah. And like that, and that was it. That was the conversation. Like, nice to meet you. And he went on his way. But I kind of laughed, you know. So
awesome. Do you know that's where I got my start? Not that I got into Playboy, but I was the first time I ever wanted to be a model. I was about 7 years old, and 7 years old. So my grandfather, like we called him Zeta, big Jewish grandfather, and he had this big, huge chair. It's like one of those couch chairs kind of thing, the lounge view kind of chairs. But he had like a big white sheet over it to keep it clean, or some sort of blanket. And it covered all the way to the bottom. And he always sit on there. It was just a very humble looking chair. And sometimes he would put us on his knee, you know, do all these little things. One time me and my brother were just playing on the floor because, you know, you're little kids, you just playing on the floor. And I was curious one day, and I looked underneath the blanket of the skirt of the couch chair, and there were stacks of Playboy. And I was like, wow. And I look, and then so me and my brother took a magazine each, and around 7 years old, I remember around 6 or 7, right? Because it was my first real memory of who I wish that I wanted to be when I grew up. Yep. So I looked at it, and I remember seeing this woman. She was in this perfect pinup pose, and she had beautiful like hair. So some with black hair, some with blonde hair. And they look like the most glamorous, beautiful women in my life. And it's not that I didn't see a naked woman before. When we used to go to the public pool, right? My mom and like, you know, we go to the public pool. women used to be changing. And I remember like not attractive women changing, walking around freely without any clothes. And I remember going, this doesn't look anything like those women. I was like, and I had already in my mind the comparison of the two. And I was like, one day I want to look like that. And I remember saying that in my head, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
Nice.
And I did try out for Playboy twice, but I didn't make it. But I got to be on a newspaper cover. Like in Toronto, they had a Playboy auditions, and there was like, what happened is my husband, he went online and he saw that one of the photographers were coming to Toronto, and he did one of these annex courses. So basically, like, you sign up for a course, and he's a photographer, and he's going to teach people how to do kind of do nude photography as a Playboy. Yeah. And so Scott was taking notes, and I couldn't even listen to the conversation because my husband said, bring your photo album, because we already did personal pictures. Yeah. And I was like, at the end, I was all I was waiting for is the end to show him my pictures, my homemade portfolio. And that Scott took the pictures. And I said, hey, can I show you my pictures, my model pictures? And he said, sure, I'd love to. And so he looked through them and he goes, hey, we're having a casting call. I'm going to give you an invite. And so he gave me a personal invite to go try out, which was in Toronto. And I went there, and Toronto, the newspaper was there. So I'm on the cover. I have a newspaper clipping of me with a bunch of other girls, and we're in pink satin, like house robes, right? Like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a sexy little photo, and I was in it twice. I got like a t-shirt that said I posed for Playboy, and I had so much fun. I didn't make it, and I was really disappointed that I waited for a whole year to see if I heard anything. And my husband's like, because he saw how disappointed I was, he's like, fuck it. I'll take your pictures. I'll create your website. I'll make you a model. And he taught me how to model. He took my pictures and he learned how to make a website. That's how I got into modeling. And then eventually,
he did a good job.
Thank you. And eventually we made it to Fetish Con, not long after.
Very nice. Very nice.
So I'm excited to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in so long.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we last talked, it was New Jersey for the
that's right.
porno convention there.
So what has been up since? Do you still sell lingerie? What has been up since?
I still have my website, but I was revamping it and then kind of lost interest. I still have some inventory, so like I kind of want to get rid of it. But
maybe we can figure that all out.
Like it's just like I kind of want to get back into it, but the market, like because of COVID now, it kind of changed everything from a business aspect.
Everything's changed.
Like a lot of the stores, so like right behind me, you see all the the silver and gold coins and stuff.
Yeah.
So like all that stuff there, and the gun in the corner, that's an old musket. Don't worry.
And then it was the sword up there.
Yeah, there's a sword up there, a little samurai sword. That's one.
So cool. I was going to ask you about that.
But yeah, like the market changed. So
yeah.
I've sold silver and gold as well for like the past 20 years off and on.
Oh,
and
wow. I didn't know that.
But I never had a store or anything like that. I just, it was just word of mouth with friends. And then Facebook, like Instagram, like it just opened up a new world. It is crazy out there what you can do money-wise,
so Tell me, what are you like? I'm not making any money on Instagram or anything like that. I just post some pictures for fun. But what are you talking about? Tell me. I would love to learn. So
basically, if Instagram or Facebook's listening, don't follow my account. So basically, people go on there and they do raffles. There's all these private groups. So, they take all this stuff here. So let's just grab this guy here. Why not? So, like, here's a pretty kick-ass piece. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of crappy.
Really cool. What is that design though? First, because it's hard to tell a little bit exactly.
Yeah, I think it's the. Let's see if I can turn the.
Yeah, I want to see it. It looks like I almost see something ocean-like. What is that? Dragon-like.
Yeah, there you go, right there, perfect.
That is gorgeous.
So this thing is awesome. It's 11 ounces of copper wrapped in silver, and it's expensive. But so like something like that, it's like a $500 piece right there, $500 coin, right?
Holy smokes!
So you could sit there and say, "Hey, I don't have $500 to buy this."
Mm-hmm.
So they go on these Facebook groups. They put up 10 seats at $50 a pop. So now for $50,
seats. What does that mean?
So they would put up a raffle for this with 10 tickets.
Okay.
So you're taking a ticket to try to win this for $50.
Okay. Wow.
And then
oops, like really worth $500?
Yeah, it really is. It's a really like super high relief. I don't know if you guys could see that. Like
it's beautiful.
Okay,
slow down when it comes to, because I want to learn. So selling the tickets for like, what did you say, $10? What did you say?
So like let's just say it was $100, right?
Okay.
So I would put up 10 seats at $10 a pop.
Gotcha.
So like let's just say that was $100. So you would have a chance at $10 to win something for $100.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, pretty epic. I've won a ton of stuff, and I've also spent a lot of money.
I've heard of this group, like this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over Instagram. They're big on Instagram, too. I don't really follow too much on Instagram.
Okay, but how are they labeled? Like, what kind
So most of them, anything you want. You like liquor? There's liquor site, sales, if you will, on these private Facebook groups. So you just type in, "Hey, I like whiskey." So look up whiskey groups, and then look up. They're called waffles or razzes, and you can type in stuff like that, and you find so many different groups: silver, gold, liquor. But yeah, like the sword behind me. Yeah. I'm sure there's a sword group out there. Anything and everything that you like or collect, there's a Facebook group for it where you could buy and sell, trade, or do the raffles and try to win something at a cheap seat.
That's amazing. And during COVID, I didn't go travel, I didn't shoot or anything like that, and so I did a little bit of webcam, and even not even that much, but I did a little bit of webcam here and there, and I was doing some custom videos. So like I do my OnlyFans, and my OnlyFans will, like, maybe a fan will ask me like, "Hey, do you do this little personalized video? How much is a video for this long?" and blah, blah, blah. So I've been doing some of those and pays the bills. And then Scott does, our online website and our clip stuff that he edits and produces. And he also gives some of our videos to Canadian Content, which goes on pay-per-view. So he does a lot of work with that. But for me, it's like I wanted to, since the lockdown, and I haven't been shooting, which I'm probably hoping to go to Florida when things open up, and I'd like to shoot again in Florida with some of my friends. Most of my friends are that I could shoot with are in Florida. Yep. So I hope to do that. But other than that, I've been fascinated about podcasting. One, I could talk forever. Two, I have lots to talk about when it comes to the subjects, this subject. And then also, and I have lots of friends that I want to talk to on, because we've been locked up. I'm not a phone person, but I like this. This is fun because you can see, back and forth. But you sit on the phone. I'm not a fan of just sitting on the phone. Yeah. Okay. It's like awkward, Yeah. But this I find a fun kind of medium, a good outlet, expression, whatever. So I figured, okay, well, I've been watching a lot of podcasts.
So why not do your own?
So let's do this. So I figure, okay, Nisa helped me. She did a podcast with me, and I was doing a podcast with my friend David, who already was doing that on YouTube. He's a comedian that when I had my adult store in Windsor, Canada, I met him there, and he was starting a podcast, and I had fun on that. So I was like, I'm going to do one too. So
I actually remember going into your store up in Canada, eh?
Oh, Canada, eh? Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool to come over, see you guys. I was doing a show in Detroit and shot over to come say hi.
That was amazing. I am so happy. I'm so happy.
Customs was like, you're going over to see a friend for lunch? I'm like, yeah. Like, what the hell? I'm up here for business in Detroit. You know.
That's great. You know what? They're giving you a hard time because Detroit and Windsor, people are going across all the time, throughout daily, even just to go shopping, to get some gas. So when they say that to you, it's not like people don't do that normally. It's so normal that they're literally giving you a hard time. And every American who comes into my store, because I was right on the border, they used to tell me they used to get harassed so much all the time. Border was brutal with them.
Yeah, but the rectal search was fun. No, just kidding.
Funny.
But no, they were, and then when I came back through, it was just like, oh, how long are you over there for? Lunch? Okay, that was it.
Yeah.
So
because they know, but the Canadian border gives some issues, but they know that everybody, like especially being on the border, having my store, I talked to tons of people. People were going back and forth all the time for shopping, for work, to see people, to just like an hour even, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, so from the time that you had, so you still did your lingerie, you still do it a little bit. So what are you going to do with it now? Like, what is your store? You want to tell people what your store is? I can even put the link, and what do you want to?
So the website's intimatefashions with a Z.net, right? Or .com. I got it because I had two of them, I got to double check. So intimatefashions.com. And then, so I just revamped the site like 2 or 3 months ago and just been adding new products. The biggest problem with that is the companies they give you like a spreadsheet of what they have available. And there's a way to program the site so it updates the product all the time, with their quantities, but it just never works. So the biggest problem I have on that is, like, let's say this Scott Church shirt right here, let's say I was selling it for $20, they run out of a large, I don't know until somebody orders it. And then I hate that, telling someone I'm sorry it sold out.
Yeah.
When it should have updated and it doesn't. So
exactly.
That's my biggest hurdle right there, because it takes hours upon hours to add all the products. And back 20 years ago, I had 6 websites. I had to enter all the stuff by hand. I had a shoe website, which I don't have anymore, but I can get you shoes.
Good to know.
I had like 6 different shoe accounts, Pleaser shoes, Ellie shoes, Tony shoes, like just a million of them. And I had like 4 websites for that. But the biggest problem with that was shipping. Shipping was horrendous. And so I ended up...
Like in what sense?
So like Amazon now, if you bought a pair of shoes or whatever, it's free shipping. Well, back then they didn't have that. It was still like $20 to send a pair of shoes. So it was too expensive, and people didn't like that, and I didn't either. So I just kind of ended it, and that was it.
Well, this is a big thing for us too, because especially in Canada, there was no shoemakers in Canada, so everything was always going to be imported. So the other problem was it would be cheap if you bought it in America, but if you shipped it to Canada, and
You had to pay the
knew
taxes.
that you were shipping it for a business, they would tax you like so crazy. Why? Because they want to protect Canadian businesses. But there's no Canadian shoe businesses that is located in Canada that we could have ordered from. We always had to order outside of Canada. And so the one way I got around it is I used to go to Fetish Con. Like, this is what we did when we went to the store. And, the shoe guy.
Yep.
So
Joe?
at the last day, whatever shoes that I liked that he hadn't sold, he would give me a deal. He'll give Scott a deal, and he would buy like a whole bunch of shoes, like a whole bunch, and I could pick out what I wanted. And then at the same time, we would just take it back, and it would look like my personal selection, even if it was like 50 shoes, right?
That's my personal collection, just 50 shoes, 100 pairs,
Yeah, one time we were in Miami, Florida, and we went to Miami, and there was a warehouse of shoes, and so we went to wicked deals, like $10 or whatever, right? And we bought like the trunk, the back car of our trunk was full of the shoe boxes, and like they didn't say anything when we went over the border, but if they knew it was for a business, then they would add on this massive tax, because in Canada, you can come over the border. If you are personally buying something, you can buy up to $500 each. So we were always within that range. So we didn't have to pay extra, right? But if you were just to order some shoes and then they have it shipped in, and it was from a company and it was going to a business, it would be a massive, massive tax. Like, it was just too unaffordable, to the point where we had to only buy a couple, or do that with the Miami thing, where we just put it in our trunk, my personal stuff. Yep. Or we stopped altogether, because I would have shoes and then somebody would be a klepto and steal one shoe out of the pair if it was on display. And it's like, why would you steal one shoe at least? Like, you would take the other shoe, like, well, but some people are kleptos. And then, of course, I had this girl, like, I was suspicious about it. And then all of a sudden I saw, and I went to the area, and she was already gone, but I looked in the box and she had stolen a pair of shoes. And, it was just like the most expensive item for me to have, to ship there, to deal with. And then people were just easily able to steal the shoes. It was like, oh God, I hate it.
It's a pain. Theft is huge,
Yeah.
No matter where you go, we'll look at California right now. Be glad we don't have a business out there.
Well, yeah.
It's terrible.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not in those places. It is insane. That's the reason why we got out of Canada, though. That's the main reason. It's like all of a sudden the new government came in, and the local government was very, very, it was going to go to extreme. So it was already like, this was maybe almost 4 years ago, about 4 years ago. Yeah. And they were going, it was about 4 years ago. And they were going, okay, we're going to go up to $15 an hour. Well, first of all, I can't afford that, because if I was working, we can only afford the store if me or Scott were working, or if I was working a lot and then Scott was doing a lot of the businessy stuff and the website and all that stuff, right? So if I was working, fine, we can break even or just make a small profit. When I had to travel, which all of a sudden, when I started having the store, everybody wanted to hire me. I got in the MILF stage, and that's when I started working for Reality Kings, Brazzers, Elegant Angel, Evil Angel, Jules Jordan, Kink.com. And then I started traveling, so we hired somebody. And then when we started hiring a couple of people, we were like, oh my gosh, we were barely breaking even. And sometimes we'd have to deal with a lot of theft. And sometimes some of the staff wouldn't show up, or they get their schedule wrong. And then the store would be open, and I'd be in Florida or Vegas, and somebody would be like, hey, your store's not open. And I'm like, what? And then we'd call the staff. So it was a pain in the butt. And then on top of the $15 an hour, they were going to change it to, well, they get 10 mental health days. And sure, if you're working, you would love to have the 10 mental health days where you don't have to get a doctor's note. You can just say, I'm not coming to work today. But I can't do that, because I have one little store with one staff that works it, because it's so small and it's not that busy. And so if she doesn't show up, you have to give the other person or somebody else about a day advance. So that means I would always have to be a backup. But if I was traveling, I could never be a backup. So when things started to become too crazy like that, we were just like, let's get out. Recoup our losses or whatever. And we lived in a trailer for a while in Florida. My mom's in Toronto, and my mom's in a condo in Florida. We did some shoots, and then eventually we came here in the Dominican. It's a lot cheaper, and we were just like, okay, we're done. We're done with working in a physical store, having employees, and stuff like that. It was too hard.
Yeah, it's expensive with employees, even here in the States. The taxes that you have to pay for the employee. So at $15 an hour, it's almost like $22 an hour you're paying.
Wow.
And then, so like people don't realize that. And then if you were at a job here in the US that has benefits, $15 an hour, and they're giving you benefits.
Wow.
You're at almost like 28, almost $30 an hour, and people don't realize that. And well, I mean, that's why it's big companies and stuff like that. And it's
that's the problem, because that's the problem. It doesn't help small business people.
Exactly.
It only is the corporation. So they used to say, okay, well, Walmart doesn't mind if you go up to $15 an hour. You know why? Because they can afford it, and they're the ones who are pushing it. You know why they're pushing it? Because it pushes the small businesses out, because they can't afford it.
Yep.
So why was all these small businesses closing during COVID? Well, all these huge corporations are still open, and
making billions.
And Costco, packed, and Walmart, and this little company that sells like a ma-pa business that sells this little cute items for Christmas was basically fined. Like, they got a fine in Toronto. They were in Toronto. It was another place in Canada. I can't remember what province.
Well, even in the US, they had that,
That's insane. Did you hear how Ron DeSantis, like, he totally pardoned a whole bunch of people, like the gym owners? The gym owners
I lost you.
Okay.
Can you back up for a second? You cut out.
Oh, okay. So in Florida, Ron DeSantis, the governor, he pardoned.
You mean the future president?
Yeah, I know, right? I'm a fan of Ron DeSantis. I love him. And I have friends in Florida, and I go, and they're like, when I comment about it, my friends in Florida are like, isn't he the best? And I'm like, he's amazing. So this couple, young couple, not around my age, around our ages, right?
Yeah.
And they had a business, and they opened their gym kind of in protest of the lockdowns, because right around the corner was like a Costco or some big company that was always open. So they opened it up, and they didn't even do it out. They did it outside. So in protest, they started working out outside, and people were working out in the parking lot. And then they all got fined, and they were going to be taken to jail. And Ron DeSantis, like, he went on the news, and he said he pardoned them. He said he was going to pardon them right in public, and they were so happy. And he said, I'm going to pardon all the ones who got these fines, because it's ridiculous, because they were supposed to be guidelines. They weren't supposed to be something that suppresses the people and puts them into jail. It's like, these are small business owners, and they can't even compete with this big company who supposedly is allowed to stay open, and they can't even work out. Now, they were doing this little protest even outside. They weren't even inside, and they were getting all these issues. So I think he's amazing for doing that.
Oh, that's like up in Canada, that church. I can't remember it, but they videotaped it where the pastor just tells them to get out. That's it.
There were two pastors. Oh, that guy, yeah. There was two pastors. But that guy there, he had escaped communism, by the way. He had escaped communism. And literally, he never thought that he would have to deal with this in Canada. And then they started coming to what about the peaceful protest? The peaceful protest of, no, we're going to still have our church open. And so they came in there with a group of police officers. And eventually they got him, and about seven, I think it was like many times they arrested him and dragging him like a criminal. And by the way, not to say that they were doing the same thing with criminals. So they, just like in the States, they have been letting out prisoners for the COVID lockdown now, for early, whatever you want to call it. But they first said there weren't going to be violent criminals. Now there are violent criminals coming out. So literally people who've been attacked, and then it comes out that that person had rape charges, violent charges, violent, accusations or whatever. So it's pretty crazy. So like New York is doing that. And the reason why they're doing that is because literally their platform says that prisons are racist. Their platform says that they want to abolish prisons. So I don't know where all these like crazy rapists, pedophiles, and criminals are going to go. They're going to go in your neighborhood.
Oh, they're going to go down to the islands. They're going to put them all on one island. That's
island.
And maybe Cuba. I don't know. You know, they'd be like, all right, you guys are prisoners here. You get an island. Good luck.
So New York is pretty bad right now. Are you hearing about New York?
Well,
it's even worse.
Like for the criminal stuff, it's crazy up here. So the news, I live in Connecticut, so I'm right next to New York. The news channels, like, they don't really report much.
I'm following it.
Like all the local stations up here, even the New York stations, they don't say everything. They'll just be like, "Oh yeah, there was a shooting last night," and that's it. But now, if it was,
you could see tons of stuff going on.
But if it was a police officer shooting and it was a white officer that shot a black guy, all over the news. But if it was a black guy that shot a black guy, officer shot a black guy, nothing, not even a peep.
So I follow so I mostly follow things online. So I have YouTube, and YouTube, I follow the local. If you follow the local news, like Chicago's local news, New York's local news, California's local news, you'll see people talking about it. It's like the mainstream is not talking about it. But Chicago has the daily things that are going on. So if you follow online, if you follow their local news, they're totally reporting on it. And so I've shared. I'm pretty sure that like Facebook has totally like
eliminated you.
So like nobody can hear, because I don't even get anybody to like it. But it's interesting though, because it's what's going on is the narrative is don't report on it and nobody will know it, so that it doesn't exist. So my friend who's from New York, from here, she's like, "Oh, I never heard of that." And I said, "What do you mean? They have there's so much stuff going on in New York right now. Like there's so much, the crime has risen."
Oh yeah.
Really? What? And I started sending articles, and I said, they're letting people out of prisons during COVID. And she's like, "What?" I said, that they're also letting men who do not have to have a sex change. They do not have to look like a woman.
Can go in the bathroom. Yeah.
If you're, look, that's another story. If you're on transition, I have transgender friends. But my point is that they are letting people who just say it go into the women's prisons. And if you Google rapes, transgenders and rapes and women's prison, there's a whole movement going on right now with people who want to protect the women's safety in jails, because they are being attacked and they're not allowed to say anything. When they do say anything, they're totally criticized as if they're homophobic or transphobic. But It's not that. It's not real transgender people who have had any kind of, they do not have to have even blockers. They don't have to have even puberty blockers, hormone blockers. They literally can just say it. So if you verbally say it, doesn't matter, you've lived your whole life as a man, you've never ever put on a woman's dress, you can just say it right at the jail that you're a woman, and they'll put you in the women's prison. It doesn't matter if you had rape charges. So that's what's going on right now. And I messaged my friend, or I was talking to my friend who's here, who's from New York, and she couldn't believe it. And I said, yeah, because they're not posting, they're not showing, they're not telling people that it's going on. There's all these movements that are going on because of these kind of policies. And you want to be inclusive and welcoming for all people. And I have lots of people who are all different, whatever. The point is, you also have to balance it out with people. Like, you imagine being in jail. You're in jail because, maybe stupid drug charge or prostitution charge. You're already going through shit in your life. These people are not on their best part of their life. They're on the shittiest part of their life. They're in jail, and they're women, and now they're being attacked. So this is what people have to realize, that you have to feel for these people. Okay, you want to feel for some people who are in prison, but why are you feeling for the criminals who have had rape charges and you're worried that they might get COVID? So you send them out on release, and they've had 20, the young couple in Chicago who was at the Puerto Rican parade.
Today, Chicago police announced an arrest for the murder of a man at last month's Puerto Rican Day parade.
Lorenzi has 26 felony arrests and 7 convictions, including burglary in 2006, unauthorized use of a weapon by a felon in 2010, and aggravated fleeing and eluding in 2016.
So he's been in jail for 6 times, 26. So how does that happen?
Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Right. So, but back up for a second. So if I ever go to prison, all I got to say is I'm a woman. Exactly. And then I go to the women's prison. So now I might have a chance of finding a girlfriend. I like the way you think. Thanks. I mean, at least when someone says, hey, you got a pretty mouth, boy, it's going to be for something else. So
you can be more safe there. Like if you went into the men's prison, I followed like this. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, but anyways, it's a really fascinating podcast that I follow now. This guy, he was in prison, and he was like the ecstasy king. So he's English, but he lived where did he live? Arizona or something along those lines, right?
Police cars all over the place, marksmen with rifles. Boom! Just this door just flies off the hinges. Hands above your heads, don't move, get on the fucking ground now.
And he, in the 90s, had this ecstasy, like, drug dealing thing. And he has this crazy story, but then he finally got arrested and he went to jail. And he has several books. A book how he first had the ecstasy, as he was the ecstasy king, a young guy. He started off when he was late teens kind of thing. That's how young he started. And then anyways, he ended up in prison. And so he's a skinny little raver, white English guy. And the first thing he tells in his book is they take him against the wall, and they're like, are you a chomo? Are you a chomo? And he's like, what's a chomo? I don't know what a chomo is. And he says, child molester. Right? And he's like, no, I'm not a child molester. I'm in for drugs, And so he's okay. Eventually he's okay, right? But there's this whole story. So you don't ever want to go to prison, but there's a whole book that he wrote of when you first go in, if you're white, you almost have to be with the white supremacists because they take care of you.
Prison, how was that like?
You sit in the wrong place. It's all over. I was at the point where I was about to kill myself in the jail. It got so rough. It was one of the lowest points of my life.
Everybody ends up going in their segregated races, whether you like it or not, because that group will take care of you. If you're not, you get beaten or killed or raped by the gangs. And it's dangerous. So who wouldn't want to say, I'm a woman now, put me in the woman's jail?
Well, hey, they might cut it off, so, or bite it off, I mean, that's maybe better chances over there. Stay with your own.
So another thing I wanted to ask you about, because I'm fascinated, is I love the paranormal. And I was at Nisa's house. Yes. And so when I was at Nisa's house, doing this shoot with her, and we were talking about it, all of a sudden I saw in my camera, there was some orbs. And I'm like, you have orbs in your room. You have spirit orbs. And I showed her in the bedroom that I was in the guest room, in her guest room. And she was like this. like she almost like you could see in her eyes she was worried, she was concerned. She made her get excited, right? Oh my God, that spirit orange! Yes. And she's like this, and then she's like, and I swear to God, I almost kind of traumatized her a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I hope I didn't scare her, right? And she goes,
That's why she never wants to come over to my house, because she knows about it. And she's like, no, I ain't coming over. You're meeting me somewhere.
and then she told me about a little bit. She didn't tell me much, but she's told me a little bit. You have to talk to Jeff. Oh my God, you have to talk to him. He has stories. And I was like, what? I want him to tell me. So
Yeah.
if you're okay with it, can you tell me some stories?
Yeah. Hey, just calm down there. All right. So they're still here. The ghosts are still here.
You can contact them if you want.
No. Last time I did that, it was the scariest thing you ever. Yeah. So
Stories though.
so let's back up. So all right. So I bought my house about 3.5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago now. And when I first moved in, it was me. The house came with a roommate, okay? And he had an old dog, and the dog like never moved, but you'd see the dog on the ground, and you'd see him kind of like looking up and kind of like following something on the wall, and you're, whatever, he sees a fly, never thought anything about it. I'd be home by myself, and you hear knocking down in the basement. So when you go in the basement, it's an oil furnace. There's nothing there to knock. And like the knocking's like on that side of the wall. There's nothing over there. There's no pipes, no nothing to warrant knocking. It's in the middle of summer, like no heat's on, nothing. And you just kind of brush it off. And every now and then you'd see something kind of out of your eye, and maybe I just saw stuff. Then fast forward like 1.5 years later, I get a roommate, and he goes to the bar one night and brings a girl home. She never left. So she was here. She had so many stories, and I don't know what was real and what wasn't. And she said she was like had cancer. She had it taken care of, blah, blah, blah. She had a twin brother that I guess killed himself. And so she was very depressed. And as a twin, she's an empath. So, and being depressed and the cancer, I don't know if it was terminal or what. She seemed pretty healthy, but who knows? I hope she is healthy. I haven't talked to her in years. But so she was here for, I don't know, like 2 months. And I got security cameras up inside the house, outside. And she goes, hey, can you put a security camera in my bedroom? I'm like, absolutely, She's a little hottie. And she's like, I feel like someone's watching me. And I'd be like, yeah, it's just me. Don't worry. So funny. So I had 2 extra cameras. So I ran the wires down the hallway. I put them in. I'm like, here they are. They're right here. So when you guys go to sleep, or if you go to do something, just be mindful they're there. I don't care. I'm not going to watch them unless you tell me to. So one night, the first night, right? She goes, can you watch the camera? Like, I feel like something happened. Sure, whatever. So I'm watching the camera, I'm reviewing it, and I should have burned the house down then. So
what happened? You got me I see.
So like your bed behind you, right? So you got the camera going that way. I had another bed above the headboard coming back this way.
Okay.
So on the corner of the bed, let's just take the sheet of paper here. So This is the bed. We'll go like this. So the camera's coming down this way, just so you're seeing it. You see almost like a hand went under, like her feet are down here, her head's up here.
Okay.
You see her like get kind of like curled up in a ball. And then you see almost like it would be a hand went under it and like it came up over the wrist, slide down from her feet, slide down to about her knees, and then you actually see something grab the bed and go like this, try to pull it up off her.
Wow.
And I was just
on camera. You saw? Was this your first?
That was my first experience in this house. I've had experiences before, just not in this house.
Okay, after.
So I was just like, it's just got to be something to explain that, right? Like so I fast forward a little more. I see it again and again and again. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
You're at the same night?
This is all in the same night. Like it tried about a dozen times. It would like grab, you would see, like if you went and grabbed a sheet, but there's no hand there. But if you went to grab it, like you bunch it up like that, and then go like this, try to pull it up off her. And then like the last time you see an orb come out towards the headboard camera, fly up towards the headboard camera, and it starts expanding, like it's getting bigger, like it's trying to manifest. And you see another one come behind it and like chase them away. So like the evil spirit that's in the house, the good spirit chased them away. And
it's amazing.
So that was the first night, and I pretty much didn't watch anything else after that. And
Holy shit.
So like I had a bunch of issues in my bedroom. So I set a camera up in my bedroom, facing my bed. And
God.
So the ghost is very intelligent, very smart. And
but it sounds like there's more than one spirit, so not just.
My house is like a freaking playground. So
Okay,
when we so I'll get to it, but I had the ghost hunters come over to my house. That's how active it was.
Who was these ghost hunters?
They're a local group. So they came over. So my room, like I have an air conditioner in my window blowing across me. You hear it kick on, like it's just gonna pump out the cold air. Something blocked it. Like you don't even feel the air blowing over it, but you hear it kick on. And I'm just like, what the hell? And like, I've had stuff sit on me, like almost like it was trying to like enter me. Then I had, I'd wake up to something knocking on my nightstand next to me. So one of my friends says, you need to cleanse your house. I was like, all right, how do you do that? Like, so it's summertime, it's hot. So he goes, you take the sage, you burn it, you smudge the house, and you say this, and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, cool. Worst mistake I ever made in my life.
Why? What happened?
It pissed them off like you wouldn't believe.
I saw that on a ghost show that it can, like when you try to cleanse your house, it can piss them off.
Yeah.
But
so
why do they say that to cleanse your house and then it pisses them off?
So, according to the ghost people, that I didn't do it right. So basically, in a nutshell, you're supposed to get like the corners, like they like to go into corners, cabinets, all this stuff. But because the ACs were in the window, they said pretty much like you open up the most upper level window or something like that. And you start at the bottom, work your way up, and you're basically chasing them out. They don't like the scent, something, whatever it is. So it basically chases them out, and they go out the window. And then at the end of the window, you're supposed to do, put like salt or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's like, how do you know how to do all it? Like,
yeah, like I don't remember 100%, but I did it and closed the window, did the salt or whatever it was supposed to do. And that night, oh my God. So I go to bed. I don't have my dog yet either. So the other roommate left. There's no animals in the house. So it sounded like a kid.
Did you not have a dog then, or you just didn't have a dog at all?
I didn't have a dog then. There was no dogs in the house, no animals. It sounded like a freaking kid having a temper tantrum, storming up and down the hallway and then up in the attic, like stomping his feet all night long. And
God,
just
what were you thinking?
I was like, I want to strangle this. I want to kill this fucking kid. Like, you know, like if this kid was alive, I'd kill him right now. You know, like what the fuck, dude? I gotta work in the morning. So all night long, just back and forth, up in the attic and then down the hallway. Like I opened up the door. I'm like, hello, like, you know, and I have an automatic light in the hallway, which is pretty cool. Not on, and like, you know, I just heard the footsteps. I figured it was the roommates getting up to go use the bathroom or something. And
yeah, and if you went to see and they weren't doing anything.
Nobody there. Nothing.
Did anybody else hear though?
Oh yeah, they heard it. So, so then, like the evil spirit in the house got pretty empowered. So whatever this girl, she like was a light in the dark that these things were attracted to. So
about that, they can. She probably was open since she was a kid or something, and they're attracted to her.
So I have a shadow figure in my house, which is like pretty bad, I guess. And
scary.
So this is what the ghost hunter told me because she saw it supposedly because she's an empath and she actually did her studying with the Warrens from you know.
No way.
Yep. So she like didn't get trained by them, but she did a lot of work with them, and so she sees a lot of crap that we don't. She's been open to it all of her life. You know, we kind of made fun of her back in high school and stuff, but now it's like, oh shit, it is real, you know? So, but yeah, like so that video of the bed with the sheet, like I showed my parents, I'm like, they're like, oh, it's a fan. The AC kicked on.
Oh,
I was like, so an air conditioner grabs a sheet, like you see something bunch it up on the outside and like goes like that. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. So, but yeah, it got bad. So she started getting scratch marks on her, the like J hooks.
Yeah.
So she'd get like 3 J hooks. And like it would be in a spot where like you couldn't get it even if you tried type deal.
Burning, like a burning sensation.
Sometimes, yeah, she would feel that. Like she would feel it. So like it's just crazy, the stuff. So the ghost is very intelligent. So me being me, I like to be a practical joker and, you know, have fun. You tell me something scares you, I'm gonna have fun with that. So like one night she was home alone and her boyfriend was out working. So I run my fingers up and down the door, you know, scratching it.
You did not. You probably traumatized her. Oh my God.
Oh, so you know what happened later that night? That's all you hear is the ghost going like this up and down the door.
Mocking the exact way you were doing it?
Because it affected her.
Oh
so
my God.
I got the ring doorbell and I had to charge it. So I bring it inside, I set it up. It's like, well, let's see if it catches anything coming down the stairs since you always hear the kid. She was home one day and she kept setting it off and I'm at work. So I'd turn it on and I'd just whistle it. Just quick whistle. That's it. And then hang up the thing. So like the third one or fourth one, she caught me. Like the camera stayed on too long. So she called me up. She goes, will you cut it out? That's freaking me out. Right. And I'm like, all right. Like, you know, I'm done. So I go to work. Like I had to put my phone down, what I was doing. Like 2 hours later, I got like 3 missed calls from her. I call her up. I'm like, you okay? Can you fucking stop? And I'm like, stop what? She's like, you are whistling at me and it's freaking me out. And I'm like,
oh, and it wasn't you.
I was like, my phone's been in the truck. Like I'm working out in the rain or whatever it was. Like I didn't want my phone to get damaged. I left it in the truck. It was not me. And she's like, yeah, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, really, it was not me. And so just crazy little things like that. So they were too.
For her now.
Well, so
it's horrible.
You ever watch the movie The Shining?
Of course.
Yeah. So they're a little too young. I I was remodeling my bathroom, so I used their bathroom. And on the steam, I wrote on the mirror, red rum. It was about 2 days later. They go, what did you write on my mirror? And I go, what are you talking about? You know, shit grin on my face. Like, what are you talking about? Right? They're like, I was like, the bathroom's shared. Like, it's not your mirror. They're like, no, in our bedroom. I go, what are you talking about? Right? So now I'm puzzled. I walk in, you look on the mirror, like I see fingerprints, like, you know, like I don't see anything. We go, look, pretend you're laying down on the bed and look at the mirror. So like I get down, like I'm looking at the mirror. Someone took like, almost like it's hot, you're sweaty. So like they would go like this, take the sweat, go like this with the side of their hand. They wrote out my name, Jeffrey. And it started spelling out my last name, and then it started saying something underneath, but I couldn't make it out. And I was just like, all right, which one of you guys did this? Like, this ain't funny. Like,
my God.
You know, I was just like, because I just wrote red rum in the fucking bathroom. Like, this ain't funny, and you guys don't know about the movie.
They knew you did the red rum in the bathroom, though, right?
Yeah, but they wouldn't understand it because they never saw the movie. They're too young.
Okay.
So, like, you know, I even asked them, you ever watch the movie The Shining? They're like, what's that? That's like, seriously?
Here's Johnny.
So like, yeah, what is it? It's like
classic.
yeah. So I was just like, all right, whatever. So then that was like kind of scary. So now we're.
You should be documenting everything. Did you have?
I had video of it, but I don't know where it went. I saved all the camera footage, but like the computer crashed, and I got a new computer.
Probably crashed on purpose to get rid of you.
Yeah, well, but like it would be funny. I'd sit here and like I'd put something on the table, and I'd be like, "All right, move this piece of paper. I need to pay rent," you know. And nothing would happen. I was like, shit, you know. I'd be sitting there with my phone recording. I'm like, all right, you know, move this glass so I can record it and make money. Throw it against the wall for all I care. Like, yeah, like I was like, look, if you want to live here with me, I have no problem with it, but you need to pay rent too.
That's hilarious. So what happened when you contacted? You said that you tried to contact them or talk to them?
The ghost people?
The ghosts.
Oh, yeah. So they told me that like pretty much you set boundaries with them. So
yeah, the ghost hunters, yes. Yeah, I heard that. First, you can set boundaries. You can say, okay, this is my space. You can't. Now, did they respect that?
No. So, well, so let me rephrase that. Maybe some did, and some didn't. So,
how many do you think that there are there?
I want to say there's at least 3 to maybe like 5 in my house, and that's including the shadow figure, not including what's outside. So
did you do EVP?
Oh yeah, we did that.
Okay,
so now,
what did you say about that? What'd you get?
So
on that?
The ghost hunters, my friend, she came over. She had the REM doll, which she came over first and said she wanted like kind of just check out the house, and it was like, you know, it was like noontime. She stopped over real quick, walked in the house, and like she checked the basement, checked the attic. She goes, so like right now where I'm sitting right above me is I have 2 different attics. So this attic here,
attics? What do you mean?
Yeah, so I have a split level house.
Oh, okay.
So so this attic here, she's like, bad feeling, bad juju, like this is where the evil spirit is. And then in the basement, she's like, I saw the shadow figure.
Right,
and I'm like,
you would live in the basement. Usually
I was like, I never had a feeling of anything bad in the basement. And
really,
I've been out in places all over the country and the world for that matter. And I'd be like, something affects me. Like I feel it to an extent, you know, like I'm not open to it 100%, but like I feel stuff. I was out in Chicago, Detroit, like all these different places where like I felt heavy breathing, like bad breathing, like I couldn't breathe. I was coming down a staircase. I go through a doorway at the bottom of the staircase, and it was like a light switch. And then someone else was there, and they're like, "What are you kids doing?" Just exploring. And they're like, "Someone just got like raped and killed there like 2 weeks ago." And it's like, well, there you go. Like, you know, as I was coming down the stairs, it was like something bad happened.
Something bad happened. So you're very sensitive. You're sensitive with the vibrations and all that stuff, the energy. That makes sense. You said that you had it when you had things happen when you were younger?
Yes. So, but before I go there, let's finish the ghost hunters. So, like a week later, they came out to set up, and she came out maybe like noon to set up cameras before everybody else got here, the rest of her crew. And so we set up cameras. We set up base in my kitchen because that was kind of like the central part of the house. And we have the computer monitor set up. We're hooking all the cameras in. So every camera we plug in, you start seeing interference. Like you'd see lines going down the screen.
I know what that looks like.
Yeah, and I'm like, what? Like we just tested one down here. It was fine. She goes, yeah, they're messing with the electronics. It's something new. They gotta, explore it, see what it is. So we set up the cameras. She had a REM doll, or just the REM device, put it in the bedroom that was the most active where the girl was.
Describe what that REM thing is.
So basically it's just, hers was just like a round box, maybe something like this. It's got some LED lights on it, and it's got like an antenna on it. And it basically picks up energy fields. So, let's just say this pen here is the antenna. So if this hand is the energy field and I'm far away, it's not going to do anything. The closer it gets, the lights on it would start lighting up and it makes sounds. So if the energy touches it, it just like goes crazy. So she just put it in there. We just come downstairs. The thing starts screaming. She just looked at me like, oh my God. I was like, what is it? Like I don't know what it is. So she's like, she grabbed her phone. She runs up there. She's like, I'm doing an investigation in Madison, Connecticut. And my thing, like it's still buzzing. So she's recording. She's like, this thing's going off. And then like it went away. She's like, whoever's here, whatever spirit just made that go off, can you please go back to it so we know you're here? And like, she asked again, and then it came back and it went off. And I was like, nah, come on. Like that's, what the hell is it? Is it just picking up the electric from whatever? She's like, no, it's this, and explained it to me as like the energy waves come close from the spirit. I was like, okay. So then she had a doll, like a REM dog is what they called it. So she put that in there too, and instantly it started going off. And I was like,
a dog.
This one was a doll.
Toy? Like a toy.
Yeah, like a doll, like a stuffed animal.
Okay.
And, it just had that device wired into it.
Okay.
So you can,
that was a doll.
Yeah, because she said if it was like a spirit that had animals, it might attract them more, or a kid or something like that.
Yeah.
So it just kept screaming, and then she's like, "All right, well, that's awesome. Like, it's going off." So we put it in other rooms. It kept going off in every room, and but that room where she slept was the most active. So we got the cameras going. And like we're sitting here right now talking, we kind of look up at the ceiling. There's like a yin and a yang circles going around. And I'm like, what the?
What do you mean, like a cloud? Like
it was just the light. The shades were closed, but like some sunlight was coming in, and it was just spinning. And I'm like, there's nothing outside. Like I don't have anything outside to reflect light in like that.
Wow.
No cars have anything on them. Cars are over here. There's no way it would enter that room. And like, there's nothing outside. It's all trees. So she said that like sometimes it's like an angel is what they call them, something like I was like, all right, whatever. She's like, we don't know what they are, but we see them from time to time. It's like, well, that's the first I ever saw it. Yeah, it was just, I mean, it was almost like a perfect circle, like this coin. Like, and it was just, you know, like almost like the yin and yang. Like,
yeah, I know the yin yang.
It was just like that, and it just kind of kept circling around. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, and then I go in the room and it disappears. So I was like, oh, okay. So I had video of her sleeping, and like you would see her roll over or something like that, and then, or like she would wake up and just be like, and then go back to sleep, and then you see an orb come out of the bed and just go straight up. Like there's just so many orbs in this house, it's crazy. So I don't know how many spirits are really here. So when the ghost hunters are here and we set up the camera in the basement, holy shit. So
tell me.
I was just looking at it and I said, is that dust? She's like, you could tell the difference between the dust and the orbs, because the dust kind of floats around and like goes down to the ground.
Orbs are like, they have a life to them.
Yes.
And they're slow, sometimes they're fast. And I catch orbs. That's one thing I can catch. And I've caught them on camera.
Ooh, I saw an orb. It was like a little ball of light. So you can kind of see. Sometimes they're really slow, and sometimes they're big. Sometimes they're just a whole bunch. Oh my God, Andrea, I seen a whole bunch. There was a whole bunch that just came out.
Can we get over here now? Yep.
So, I mean, like hundreds of orbs. Like some are pulsating, some are going slow, and then up.
Portal open.
That's what they said, is there's portals.
It's a portal. So you have a full opening.
Yes. Several. So
several.
Now, yeah, several. So we set up all types of stuff. They had a Xbox 360 camera set up, and it's almost like LiDAR. So it would take a picture of stuff behind you and kind of make like a 3D stick figure of the area.
What you're talking about. I've seen it on Ghost Adventures.
Yeah. So they set that up, and the guy's like leaning up against the wall. He's talking to us in the kitchen, and he kind of looks over his shoulder. He's like, huh, that's funny. And we're like, what? Because there's something on my back. And this guy is like 500 pounds, right? So the stick figure would be kind of big when he was in front of it before, because we played with it. And, but it's like a kid going for a piggyback ride. And I'm like,
wow,
that's creepy, right? So,
crazy.
So
what did he say it felt like? That he felt like there was something on his back? Like it felt
he said
like
he felt something, but not really. So another guy went in the hallway. Now at this time it's like, I don't know, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So the guy's in the hallway. He has no idea what's going on, because we're looking at the camera and like he's back there and he can't see it. He's like, we're like, do you feel anything? So now this kid is, you can see the feet going around his belly, like a true piggyback ride, and like the head kind of next to his. It's showing two different stick figures, but like you could kind of see the outline of him and then the stick figure to the side, and the stick figure's like kind of wavy and moving. And I'm like, all right. They're like, well, you got to ask him a question to do something so we know it's a spirit and if he's intelligent. So I said, all right, hey, Junior, because it's a kid. So I was like, hey, Junior. So if you understand us, wave your arm like this. You kind of see this, but like it's hard to tell. I said, look, Junior, like we can't really tell. I need you to go like this. And then sure as shit, it goes like that. And I'm like, I'm out. I'll see you later.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
So yeah, that was kind of crazy. And then they had a thermal imaging camera, and being in the fire department, I know how those work.
Wait, what?
So the guy's standing there, and they got the thermal imaging camera out. They're looking at it, and right next to him, like on the floor, it gets hot, and it's expanding and getting hotter and hotter. And I'm like, that's not good. That means, like, being in the fire department, I have something below there that's, like a outlet or something in the ceiling downstairs that's going to cause a fire, like a ballast or something. So I said, let me borrow that. So I go downstairs, I shoot it up at the ceiling because it would radiate through there too. Nothing. It's just normal temperature. I was like, that's crazy. So I go back upstairs. I'm like, what the fuck is that? They're like, that's a portal. It just opened up. And then...
Oh, that's what a portal looks like on the thermal.
Yeah. So, and then at the same time, above him, kind of behind him, is my smoke detector. I had a Nest smoke detector. The light, like, it's got a little ring light that's blue, and that thing started shining so fucking bright. Like, I've never seen it so bright before in my life. It drained the battery. And it's supposed to be a 10-year battery. I just bought it like 6 months ago, and it drained the battery. I was like, crazy. Okay. And I can't keep batteries in it. Like, it just keeps going dead. So apparently I got to get a wired one. Yeah, it was crazy. So then they set up EVPs in the house. And like right here in my living room, they set up an EVP. They started asking questions. They had the, what is that, ghost box or something?
Yeah, the ghost box. Spirit box.
So, spirit box. So they had that in the kitchen, and in the living room they were doing EVPs, and they were asking the spirits, like, hey, what's your name? What do you want? So he said, my name is Bill, and that's the guy that had the house before me. He died in the house.
Do you know he died?
I didn't know he died in the house until about 6 months after I bought the house.
Okay.
Which is fine. Like, he died of pneumonia or something like that.
Okay. So
like, yeah, natural. And so, like, it wasn't horrific, but, I guess to them, I guess to us if we do.
Right.
But, so he said his name was Bill, and that's who died in the house. So I figured that's the one guy that's in here causing all the ruckus. And they go, what do you want? And in a scraggly voice, get out. And I'm just like, did I just hear that right? Because they played it back. Yeah. They're like, you heard that right. And I was like, he wants you guys to get out? He wants me to get out? Like, what's going on here, right? So at that point, like, my roommate was here with his girlfriend. She's freaking out. I said, all right, let's go. Like, we took her out. We went to a diner or something like that. So it took them like a month to send me like some videos of it, what they got on the EVPs. And like, it just, I was like, yeah, you know what? I played like the first 2 seconds of it. So, you know what? I don't even want to know. Like, I'm done.
What did you hear that you can share? Like, what do you mean? What were you hearing?
Oh, well, so like, that was the two things I heard. On the spirit box, they were like asking me questions. I really didn't like the spirit box because it's too much speculation. To me, it's just kind of hokey. Like, it's picking up waves. Like, I don't know. For those listening, go look up a spirit box on YouTube and watch.
This is some of the equipment that we utilize during our paranormal investigations. You have a PSB7 spirit box.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't like it.
EVP.
You ask a question, like, it kind of gives you somewhat of an answer, but not,
right.
And it's how you interpret it. So it can mean anything. So, I didn't really like that. So then, like, in that month when they were gone, they cleansed the house. And actually, it was just before Fetishcon, the last one I went to. So I packed up all my stuff. I said, hey, Junior, if you're still here, hop on. We're going to Disney. So
did you?
I swear to God,
you feel like he came with you?
He did. I swear to God, he did. So, like, because every morning around 4:00, I still get up. Something still wakes me up at 4:00 every morning, like around that time frame, 4:00. So when like the last night at Fetishcon, like I felt his presence, and I was like, you can't watch this kid. Go down the hallway or something and come back. And so I'm on my way back home, and like I swear he's here, and I said, all right, like, I think I'm up in like Pennsylvania or something like that. I stopped, just getting ready to stop at a truck stop. So I threatened him. I said, look, I don't know who you are, but I'm sick and tired. You keep me up at night. I need to sleep. I need to go to work. So you need to get out. I'm stopping here. You need to get out. You could stay here. There's people here 24/7 to entertain you. There's people that work here. You can move shit on shelves.
To entertain you.
Yep. So I'm like, there's going to be families coming through. You could go home with one of them. Just get the fuck out. Because if you come home with me, my buddy's going to come over. He's going to bind your ass to a crystal. And then I'm going to take that crystal. I'm going to huck it in the ocean. And you're going to have to sit there for about 50 years until it frees you, and then you're going to be drowning. So
that's crazy.
So I was like, those are your options. So I think he got out on the highway and he started hitchhiking. So
you got out on the highway and started hitchhiking. That's so hilarious.
So, and like, I mean, like to this day, I swear I felt his presence in the car on the way back.
Yeah.
And that's why I did it. And like, I never heard any temper tantrums.
You said, right?
Yep. So the other crazy thing was the backup.
How much more power that you have that people don't realize? Because I actually, just this little thing, I actually follow this YouTube channel called Channeling Eric. And it's a long story about the medium and the son who had passed away. He shot himself, but the mother ended up talking to mediums, and he started talking through it. And then now they call it Channeling Eric, and they ask him questions and all this stuff. Now, one of the things is that he does say that people have more power than they know to, one, set boundaries if they feel like they're being haunted. Two, they can also tell them to leave. They can say that you're not allowed here. You're not, do things to do that. Or if you kind of welcome them, and also the opening of the door, and then you welcome them on piggyback with you, and then you told them to go. So you had to respect that, because there are supposedly rules, and you have more power than you know. And you sure proved it.
But the crazy thing is, they did research on the house, and there's nothing about anybody dying here. There's no. So this is like this whole area.
What about the land? Sometimes it's the land.
So the land is a swamp. It's swampy. Like, they filled it in to build this housing development here.
How long?
Like the 50s and 60s.
Still not that long ago for the 50s.
So I mean, even going back further, it would have just been rocks and swamps. There really wouldn't have been a burial here or anything like that.
Listen, but what if somebody who lived in your house played a lot with opening up portals, whatever they were doing? That could open up a portal almost anywhere, depending on like who is playing and how much they're playing with stuff, or deliberately try to open up portals.
So, funny story about that.
Okay.
So, obviously, I was talking about this to some friends, and one of them goes, well, I talked to my mom or dad or something that grew up in the area, and they said somewhere up by your house, could have been my house, they're like, we heard about somebody that would like do voodoo magic type shit.
There you go.
And I'm just like,
portals.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think it was my house, but
it wasn't your house. It could be in the area. It still counts.
Well, and that's just it. So, and when one of the ghost hunters was here, he said there's a lot of spirits outside, not pretty ones. Like in my woods, like right in my area.
Your house. Even if it's outside, they can just go, hey, I'm just going to hang out here.
Yep. So, like, I was outside talking to him, and he was just like, kept kind of like looking over his shoulder, like, what was that? I'm like,
my dog just scared me. I saw something go in my crying. I was like, what's there? And then
Hey, what's that behind you? No, just kidding.
Yeah. Go on.
So going back, I forgot to say that I had a priest come to my house and bless the house because she wanted that. Like, she went to church. She's like, I was like, well, I don't know any priests that can come and bless the house. Like, I asked someone and they kind of laughed at me. And I was like, oh, I thought what the hell was it? Christian church. I was like, I thought you guys were supposed to be open and loving and all this. And they're like, do you come to service? No. Oh,
like,
we can't help you. You know? So I was like, all right, whatever. So this girl was like, this priest went, wherever she went, he would come out and do a blessing in the house. So this is before the ghost hunters. And, because I forgot. And he blessed the house. I came home. What a difference. Holy shit. Like,
really?
You felt energy.
I was going to ask you if that would make a difference or not.
Like, I never noticed the heaviness in the house, but when you walked in, it was airy, like light, like it's so hard to describe. But,
yeah. I get it.
It was just airy. Like, you felt like something was lifted up off.
Oh, I get it.
And that lasted about 2 days. And that was it. Like, it was about 2 to 3 days. Like, he killed the power for about 3 days, and that was it.
Oh my God. And then it came right back?
Yeah, it came right back. So all the...
What about, have you talked to any mediums, like full-on mediums, not just the ghost hunters?
No, I talked to some friends that are like witches and stuff like that. And they're like, we can come and get rid of them. And I was just like, you know what? At this point, I'll get to this. But she was gone. I'm like, it's calmed down because it was like a year after. So they ended up breaking up. She moved out. And it was around Halloween time, just before they broke up. Now, I'm in the house by myself. He's out wherever, working, whatever. It's like Halloween night. Holy shit, man.
Yeah, Halloween, it's the most where the portal is open and the veil is the thinnest.
Yeah, supposedly. It sounded like somebody was rearranging his room. And like, I mean, you heard furniture getting slammed, like doors being slammed shut. Sounded like a book being thrown at the wall. I'm like, I mean, it legit sounded like that room was like a twister. You know what I did? I shut my eyes and I went to sleep. I said, I'm not going to deal with this shit because I was going to get up and go in. I just said, nope, not me. No, sir. I'm going to bed. They're not bothering me. Leave them in there. So that was crazy. And then that happened, like, it was very active. Like, she brought out the worst of the house. And it lasted like probably a good 6 months after she left, that where the like something being thrown, clothes, like stuff you would hear on a daily basis. And then it just slowly faded away. And that was another thing they said was that if you talk about them and basically know they're there and acknowledge them, you're giving them power, is what they said. So pretty much
somebody needs to say a message, and then is there a balance in that kind of thing? Maybe don't give in the fear, but find out what the message is. I think it's because your portals are going to be open until they get closed. And all I can tell you is that when I was watching the Channeling Eric show, the YouTube channel, they have ways of closing portals. Like you can do it. I mean, I'm not an expert. I just follow this stuff on YouTube. But they had like the rods that go like this. And you can basically, they use that tool. They think of the white bright light. They think about the closing portals. Now, I had some similar, not anything similar. Sorry, not anything similar. I had some sort of little portal, like my husband's closet. Now, it was always a disaster. It's a new house.
Is that where all the shoes go? They go in that portal and they kind of just sit there and,
Closet was messy.
No, it wasn't me. It was the ghost. I swear. They bought them.
And every time I opened the closet, I was like dying to like fix it because it was like clothes everywhere. It was just like it had no rhyme or rhythm. And so I was going to really do something where I was going to go to get some Tupperware and then redo the thing. So I took a picture, a video on my video camera, and I wanted to kind of like remember when I got to the Chinese store that I was just going to buy these, like this bin would fit here, that would, and if I had to refer to the picture or video on my camera, I know exactly what it looked like. So I started using this video, and all of a sudden, before this, maybe months before and days and several times, my dog used to like bark at the corner, like towards that area. And it was like almost like, you know what I mean? Like something was there. And I had this feeling that something was there. So I literally said, I don't know who you are, but you're scaring my dogs. So stop scaring my dogs. And then my dog started acting normal and started watching the TV, you know, not watching the TV, but just like hanging out while I was watching TV. And it was all done. And I felt like I had gotten rid of, I told whoever to get rid of. And that day that I was going to clean the closet, I looked in the video and there was a crazy amount of orbs. Like it was literally flowing like an opening through like, like, and it was crazy. It gave me the chills. And I was like, holy crap. So then I cleaned the closet. I went and bought some stuff at the Chinese store and made bins and organized all his things. And I made these little shelves, folded each underwear. And then I said in my head, I'm going to put a bright white light all around here. And I'm sealing off whatever portal is open. This is what I was doing, okay? And I said, whatever portal is in, it's now closed. It's now closed. And I imagined this like portal closing, and I was putting white protective light all around my house, all around me, all around my dogs. And then after I did the camera again, and I only saw like one or two, and it was an extreme difference. And now I don't know if this is going to help for something as extreme as yours, compared to a tiny little portal with nothing.
So wait, you know what just happened there? You said, I don't know if this is going to work, and you cut out.
Really?
Yeah.
They're playing with your tech.
No, they're playing with yours because it was on your end.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy because I can hear me normal. I haven't heard any cutouts. So
yeah, you paused for like 2 seconds. I was like, oh, they're mad at you.
They're playing. So they're probably playing. They're probably from your side trying to silence what I'm trying to tell you because I'm right. And see, look, goosebumps just happened, which means I am right. You know why? Because I learned this from a medium. So here's what I learned from a medium is that, when I first started going to a medium, it was around when my dad died, right? And so I hadn't talked to him in a long time. It's a long story, but the point is I was carrying a lot of guilt, and I just felt like I needed to see somebody. So instead of going to a therapist first, I didn't go to a therapist first. I went to a medium. I went to a therapist later. But I went to a medium, and I saw this one medium several times. And it was amazing because she actually channeled my father, who came through and started crying and apologizing for anything he did wrong for me, all this kind of stuff. And so I started talking to her about, she's like, I had a psychic come into my store when I was working the store another day. It like she wasn't somebody I hired. She just randomly came into my store and she had to read me. And she, all of a sudden, she started saying something like, your mom is with me right now. Now I was adopted. So I was like, my mom, I'm thinking I grew up with my mom. My mom's still alive. She goes, no, your birth mom. And now even though I was adopted, I grew up as an infant with my mom. I rarely ever even thought about my birth mom. She literally started saying that saying things like, your mom is very proud of you. And she said that my daughter's been through a lot and that she's going through a lot right now. And she really needed to hear this and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow, like, eventually. And then at the end, it came down to, you're going to need to, the medium, before she left, she says, you need to figure out some things like go work out, get therapy. You need to meditate, because if you don't release what's inside of you, she said that you could have health issues like a heart problem. And I have really bad asthma, so lung and heart go together, so it would make sense. And I said, okay. And I felt like, I really did feel like she was honest, and I felt like she was right, because I had barely breathed very well. Like I was holding, when you tense, you're not you're holding your breath. So I felt like that for maybe a year or two. And so I said, okay, I knew that was going to be right. So I started seeing my friend open up a store that she sold crystals and tarot cards. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And plus, she was my friend. I was going to support her business. So I came there and I said, okay, I'm going to see the medium. And the medium, basically the first time, literally channeled my father. And my father came through and that was a big weight lifted off. But I said, I was told to like learn how to meditate. I don't know how to do any of that. So literally she gave me some techniques. And one thing, there were several things, like one thing, when you go in the shower, and you could do this too, because whatever energy you pick up or negative energy, you want to wash that off, especially when I was in a store and so many people were coming around. I was in a downtown store, so I also had a lot of negative energy come through. Like there was drug addicts, like there was a methadone clinic right by.
Yep.
So I had this stuff happening.
That's where I find all my girlfriends too.
So the one thing that I learned is you can go into the shower and you can imagine in your head that when it's washing you, like the water, it's rinsing and imagine all that negative energy going down the drain. And it'll help kind of cleanse you from whatever you pick up from anything negative in your house. And the other thing is like you can also put a protective light. And you just imagine this like white, bright light. And it's like almost like my ring light here. And it literally just surrounds your house or yourself or your dogs. And it gives this protective bubble. And if you ever want to, you call upon Archangel Michael or whoever you want. Like, so I say, because I was told to say Archangel Michael wants to work with me. So I said, Archangel Michael, calling upon Archangel Michael to help me through this and whatever it could be. And hey, I can tell you that I even used it for camming, which is the most bizarre thing. So I light a candle and like, because if I'm not in the energy mood, it sounds weird that I'm mixing it together. But I said, hey, I was like, Archangel Michael, I need to make this much money. I need to make $100 to make to pay off the bills. We're gonna light a candle. And I swear to God, and because I was like not feeling the energy of like wanting to do it, right? Yeah. And so then I swear to God, my energy changes and I get really good. And I'm like, I made $100 tonight on cams. Yeah.
Did I say 100? Maybe I meant 1 million.
Well, it's a good number that I can do. I mean, maybe it's lucky if it's another more. But what you should do is anytime you want, call upon Archangel Michael. Second, also imagine the white light. And if, like, for example, you're hearing that the noises in the next room and you don't want to go there, just imagine a white protective light just even around you and safely around you in your room, and that there's nothing that can come in a negative bubble, and then hopefully that won't at least bother you. I don't know what to do with this house. What's the next step?
So my friend that's the ghost hunter, I asked her, I said, hey, I got a question for you. If I'm jerking off and the ghost is there and I shoot my load and it like goes through the ghost, is that a ghost thing?
That's
and she just looks at me, she just started shaking her head. She's like, man, you're fucked up. I was like, these are questions I need answers for. Like, I was like, what happens if they're watching? What happens if it's a hot chick and she's watching? I don't know. Maybe she's down there. Like, what the
I know exactly what you mean, because I actually did this. So I did something similar as what you're saying. But I have a friend who passed away that I've known since grade 2, this guy. And he died around 40 years old, which is like he's around the same age as me. So I'm like 46. So it's about 6 years ago he passed away.
Don't you mean 26?
I don't mind being 46. And he and I had like really kind of good conversations right before he passed away, in a sense that we were kind of reliving some old childhood memories of our hometown. And he was saying some really nice things. And then so I said, okay, when I was shocked that he passed away, I was like, it was during the time that I was talking to these mediums and everything. And so I'm watching this YouTube channel, Channeling Air. So I said, okay, well, all right, he passed away, and I'm in the car, and I'm gonna talk to him, because I was trying to learn how to, these things that I was learning online about talking to the other side. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk to him, and I said, look, Rob, I'm going to your memorial. I wasn't necessarily gonna go, because I had to go from Windsor to Toronto, and literally his friend phoned me to literally make sure I was coming. So I can't let him down then. So I was like, okay, I'll come. Now I'm going to write a speech. So what kind of speech, or how should I write this speech that you'll like? Like, I didn't want to write, here's the thing. My friend, he was in and out of juvie. He had some adult jail time. He was a bad boy. He was a really good person inside though, but he was a bad boy. He had a lot of trouble throughout his life. And in and out of that stuff. He was also beaten almost to a pulp by the police, and he's not black. So they never make a parade or anything like that for guys like him.
Yeah,
but
they
anyway,
don't care what color you are, they're still going to beat you down.
Yeah, he had police brutality, and nobody gave a shit about what happened to him. He had to be in the hospital and everything. So the point is he's not perfect, but at the very end of his life, he was trying to make amends. Like, he was trying to say sorry to everybody that he might have hurt in his life. He was going out to help homeless people and buying them meals. Like, he would do a thing where he'd go out and find somebody to buy a meal for. So he was and he started going to church. This is amazing. This end of story was an amazing story that I learned that his brother told. And what happened is his friend was a couple, and the woman, she went in a coma. And so he said, because he kind of found God at the end. And so he said, can I take the family to church so we can pray for her to get out of the coma? And everybody's like, no, we're not into religion. We don't want to do any of that. No. So he eventually convinced the husband and the grandparents, please just do it for me. Come with me one day. And so he told his brother that what he prayed for while the family was there in his head, he prayed that he had many lives that he literally survived, that he shouldn't have survived, many, many kind of crazy things he did in his life. And he goes, if I have one more life left, give it to her so she can wake up and raise her son, and I'm fine. And 4 days later, he died.
Wow.
And so his brother told the story to his friend, and his friend told me this story, and it gave me chills to hear that. So it was like a sacrifice kind of thing. And so I said, okay, I'm going to do this speech, but his brother was going to be there. And I don't want to say, oh, his friends were there and they're making jokes. Oh, you remember Robbie? We let's go do this, get into trouble when we were kids. And I don't think his brother needed to hear that. His brother was still in pain. And so I wanted to make an inspiring speech. So I literally asked Rob to help me write a speech. In my head, in the car, I said it out loud. And I said, if you're with me, help me. And I wrote a speech that was kind of inspiring, how me and him both went through shit. And then we got, we had our own kind of lives, but it was in a way similar. And then we became friends again. And then in the end, he told everybody before he passed away that he loved them. And he also tried to make amends for the life that he led a long time ago. and stuff like that. And I made a kind of an inspiring speech that when I got finished, like it wasn't very loud. We were in a bar and everybody was listening, but I was still kind of quiet when I was saying it, a little shy. His brother literally thanked me. He went out of his way and said, "Thank you for the wonderful speech you said about my brother." Because everybody was saying like kind of jokes about, "Oh, remember we used to go and get in trouble and da 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 when we were kids." And his brother didn't need to hear any of that. But he thanked me for the speech that I did. And I knew that he helped me write the speech. So now I remember right before he died, I was shooting with Camille Black. I was shooting with another fetish model. And he was like, "Oh, I love that fetish model. I can't believe you like shot with her." I was like, "That's the kind of girl I would like, tattooed up." And so I told her, my friend who passed away really had a crush on you. And then so I said, "Robbie, if you're with me, I'm going to go shoot some porn." And I was like, "You're welcome to come." So I was like, I don't care. You're totally welcome. And every once in a while, I'm like with my girlfriends and I go, and they used to say, "Oh, I feel your friend coming," because my friend's very sensitive. She literally described him, what he looked like, and she never met him. And I was like, that is crazy. So now I say, okay, I think my friend Robbie's here. I can kind of feel it. So I talk about him, I feel him on this side, but she feels him on the other side. So I feel him on this side, his presence. And every once in a while when I'm with my sister, say I'm with my friend Angie, I'll go, "Oh, Robbie's here." And he says, "Your friends are hot." And then if I'm with my sister and I'm laughing and we're talking about it, I'm like, "Oh, Robbie's here." And she just says, "Say hi to your sister." This kind of thing you hear, like it just comes out sometimes. And if you ignore it, you won't get the message. But if you kind of hear it and just don't think about it and it just comes to you, that's the message. And like you said about the masturbating, I had to tell you the story. Like now I invite him. I'm like, "Hey, Robbie, I know you would love it. So you're welcome to come with me. I don't care. You want to come on my porn shoots."
Nice.
Yeah. So, and sometimes I feel in there. I'm like, "Yeah, have fun. This is what a porn shoot looks like."
Hey, enjoy the show,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. I can only imagine if that girl is still here how bad this house would be. Like, it's crazy.
She probably is what you said. She's some people are kind of like a lighthouse to them.
Yes.
They're born that way. They're like a light, and they're attracted to her.
I just hope wherever she is, she's healthy and safe, and that's it. The thing that bothered me the most is her getting scratched. Well, it doesn't matter if it was her or him or whatever, just someone getting hurt, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Like the spirit could be behind me right now, like trying to choke me, and that's why I'm coughing. And
that's right.
Like
you don't pick up anything on the mic.
You're not picking.
I wonder if we'll pick up any messages, because we can. If you want to ask him, you can. Why are you trying to choke him?
No, he's a dick. We don't like to talk to him.
Okay.
Now the guy that died in the house, I think he's all right. I think he's accepted the fact that I'm here. I've always told him, "Hey, look, dude, I know it's your house. I'm gonna try to take care of it the best I can. Like, I'm sorry if I'm renovating. I'm improving it to my standards. Like, you did a good job, and I'm just gonna take it the extra step." And so I think he kind of likes that. I think he was a machinist or something, somebody said. So I kind of set up some tools in the basement, and I think he kind of likes that, because that's where his shop was. And
That's so nice. That's so nice of you.
Well, I set him up for me, but if he uses them and wants to make me $1 million, that's whatever. He's got to earn his rent somehow. And there'd be times I'll be on the couch watching TV and I just catch him out of the corner of my eye or something. He'd be like, "Hey, Bill, just come over, take a seat and watch." And I could swear you see the fucking cushion,
That's fine if he's not, if nobody's getting hurt, right? If that's then just relax, don't be creepy, just sit and watch TV. Yeah.
So I think he's the nice spirit, and the kid was nice. So on the EVPs, back to that, the kid said, "Play with me." So kind of like the Shining shit, like come play with me, and it's like, oh shit,
forever, ever and ever.
Yeah.
And ever. And ever.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I'm good. And but yeah, no, it's you know, it's crazy. My parents' house is like right up the street. It's kind of funny. I bought a house like 5 houses down. Not my plan. It's just the only thing that was available at the time. And but when I was living with my parents, it was probably like how old was I? Yeah, I was like 13, 14. My grandfather just passed away, and he was a heavyset guy. And I'm sleeping, and the corner of the bed, like right by my head, like I heard the door open, like I heard someone come up the stairs. I heard someone walk down the hall. My dad would always fall asleep on the couch and then come up, or in his chair, and then come up and go to sleep. So I figured it was him. But I hear my door open, and like I'm awake, but I'm facing the wall away from the door. On the corner of my bed, like by my head, it squishes down. Like you had to be a heavy guy, person, strong to push down. Like it, and I just froze. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? Like, do I turn over? Like, I don't want to see what this is. Like, and like it was probably there for like 2-3 minutes, and then boom, like it just sprung up, like shot him up in the air, and like that was it. So I turned on like every light in the house. And my dad's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "You didn't hear someone just come in like up the stairs?" It's like, "No, your brother's been in all night." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I've had a good number of experiences in that house growing up.
What was the earliest like you had since you were a kid?
Yeah, probably when I was like, I don't even know how old I was. Probably like 7 or 8 is probably like the last I could remember. And but it's just something as stupid as the lights getting turned on and off.
Do you think it's you, or do you think it's the houses? Like if you were living at a different place, do you get anything that happens there? Because it might be you too. Like you're
No. So I was just over a friend's house, and she said it was haunted. Like she feels the spirits and sees them all the time. I didn't feel anything, didn't see anything.
Wow.
Well, I felt her, but I didn't feel anything else. But and that's it. It is what it is. And but I was just like, yeah, like I thought that too. Like maybe I'm sensitive to it, just And she's like, I swear there's like at least 2 in here, and and it would just happen to me at random times. So, but like, how they say you have like that sixth sense?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get it. I do see dead people, but not in the sense of like me looking at the computer.
What do they look like?
So it's people I've actually seen. So being in the fire department, picking up the bodies.
Right.
Like on car accidents. So like those will come back and kind of haunt you every now and then, but like it's not like a haunting. It's just
like a memory.
I think it's just like a memory that kind of plays over, but like some of them are weird. Like where you'll see it, like one of them right down the street in front of my house. Like the guy hit a telephone pole and got ejected, and like I was the first guy there, and you run up, you check the body, make sure they're alive. If you can save them, try to save them. And, he was dead, but like, a couple of years later, you close your eyes, you see him, but like, it's weird. Like you're at the scene again. And
I was thinking, would it be like where you are right there, or you feel like you're at the scene?
Sometimes it's like the image, you're at the scene. Other times it could be right here in my house, but like whatever the scene was, like they're still in that spot, and it's weird because like they're not dead, they're alive, but like they're above their body, like they're standing up, kind of like when they do a movie and they show like a ghost.
You know, that's true though. This is okay. This is how spirit. Like I swear to God, that's how it happens. Like,
and that's how I died.
Tell your story, and I'll tell you after.
Yeah, but I mean that's it. Like you kind of see. I don't know if it's the same for other firemen or EMTs. I'm sure it is.
Maybe they do see something too. Maybe they've had experiences.
Some I talk to, they do. Like, I mean, we've had some pretty traumatic stuff here from people committing suicide, probably the worst. So some horrific accidents. And
I've only seen one body of my grandfather looked like he was just sleeping in his casket. That's it. That's the only dead body I've seen.
Oh yeah, no, I picked up body parts like.
Oh my God.
Mean, I've seen bodies blown apart, like hit a train, hit a tractor trailer truck on the highway, like got to take the fire truck, wash off the highway from all the blood. Like blood sucks.
With that, like mentally compartmentalize, or like when you go home, how does that's hard. Like it's hard for me to comprehend. I've only seen a sleeping grandfather. That's it.
Well, like for me, I mean, I just make jokes. Like I think we make jokes to deal with it in a sense.
Yeah, okay.
So like, kind of like wedding crashers when they go to a funeral and start picking up chicks. That's me. I'm at a fucking funeral. Like, dude, check out that chick. She looks good in black. Oh shit, she's in the casket. I guess she's getting a stiff one, But sorry, grandma. But yeah, So it's but like, that's just it. We got to make jokes. And I mean, even with some people in that field that are dying from whatever, they make jokes up until the end, and that's it. And I think that's like one of the coping mechanisms for us.
Well, good for you. I mean, there was like a little car accident, not a huge car accident, but a little car accident one time I was walking with Scott and his son, and I kind of panicked, right? I kind of panicked, and I'm with his son, and he was younger at the time, and we just like, oh my God. And Scott, he's so calm. Like he could probably do those kind of jobs. He's so calm. And he went right to the car to make sure to see if anybody needed help and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, can't believe sometimes that people can do that. Me, I don't know if I'm not sure if I could or not,
Yeah. Well, like I just had shoulder surgery 2 months ago, and about a month and a half ago, I went to pick up pizza down the street, and there was a car accident right in front of the place. Wow. So I ran out, it was a car full of young kids, took the kids out, took control of the scene. Like, let's say you were there, sit here with the kids, check on the drivers, all that stuff, try to secure any hazards. And here I am with one arm like this because I just had surgery in a cast, and I'm just grabbing the kids out. Like, it's what you do. You run to it. It's just natural to me. So
I saved it from drowning. That's one thing I did. I was lucky on that one. But you know what? I think the interesting thing is, I think when you're trained, because I took swimming since I was a kid, and it paid off when I was 18, and I was at my boyfriend's cottage, and the 11-year-old brother was, windsurfing, swimming all day, and then near the end, everybody went inside, and he still wanted to play, and I'm sure he would have been playing in the water if they because they're at their family beach home or cottage, and I'm sure, and he's been in the water his whole life. I'm sure they would have let him play, at 11 years old. But what people forget is that the one thing that kids, like, they have a burst of energy, and then all of a sudden they have no energy, and that's what kids just sink and drown every year, all the time. And so what happened is he's like, wants to stay. I'm like, okay, let's swim to the rock. And it wasn't much longer that people went in. He literally lost all strength. And all of a sudden I felt like his hands try to sink me, when they try to drown you. And if I didn't take swimming my entire life, and right before I stopped swimming, we were doing, the whole course was life-saving, pretending that somebody was drowning, pretending they taught you how somebody would try to drown you. And what I did is I scooped him up with my left arm. I swam him all the way back to the beach. And then because he panicked, he ran inside, like, because he was scared. He ran inside and went inside. And I was standing on the beach going, wow, what just happened? Did I just save him? If I wasn't there, would something have gone wrong? Like, if I decided to go inside and let him swim, would something happen? I'm sure.
Hey, listen, if I was swimming with you and you were going to save me, shit, I sucked water and I need mouth to mouth, all right?
So funny. And then literally, it was one of those things I thought about for like 10 years. And I was like, did that happen? Or like, am I just imagining? You know what I mean? I was kind of stunned. And then I saw him 10 years later, about almost exactly 10 years later. And he was with my ex-boyfriend, and I saw my ex-boyfriend because he was coming over to mutual friends. Yep. And I was like, wow. I was like, I hadn't seen you in like 10 years. And I said, Jamie, do you remember that time at the beach? And that's all I said. And he goes, yeah. And I was like, okay, so it wasn't my imagination. He knew he was drowning, and I was there.
Good.
The one thing I did that I could say, I saved somebody.
Yeah, I mean, for all the firemen, EMTs, and cops and stuff like that.
You're a hero.
We all run to it, and it's just our job. We don't look at it as heroes. Like, that's it. I couldn't even tell you how many people I stopped and probably saved their lives on the side of the highway to being called out to a call and people you saved. From boat rescues, the plane crashes, even the trains. Like, I mean.
Wow. How many years have you been doing it?
Too long. Like 20.
Wow.
20 something years, like 22, 23.
Me and my girlfriend me and my old, really good friend, like, I haven't talked to her in a while, but we used to have fireman fetishes. So we were like, yes, it was your fireman, yes! And then the time like we were at one of those adult conventions, but in Toronto, the firemen were there. They were signing like autographs, and like she got like one of them to carry her around on her shoulder. I was like, yes, you did. And then another time when I was in Windsor, when I had my store, the firemen had one of those. They're trying to raise money, and I was right at the front. I was like, yes. And then my friend like bought one of them for a date. And then I was at this store like not long after, and two guys came in. They were going to have an event across the street at the bar. Two guys came in and they wanted to meet me, and they gave me their calendar and signed a calendar and gave me a calendar. I was like, oh my God, my friends are going to freak out. Me and her have a fireman fetish. They're like, that uniform,
So let me tell you a quick story about that. So I was out at a bar one night, and I was probably like, 22, and we're all at this place. It's called the Upper Deck because they have a big deck on top of the roof. So we're up there, we're eating food or whatever, and these girls come over and they're like, hey, they got a piece of paper. They're like, oh, we need this, we need that, we need one of your underwears or something like that. Like,
your underwear too. Wow.
Yeah, we look at each other like, what? Like, what the hell are you doing? Or, oh, we're here for a bachelorette party.
Oh,
We're like, let's see that list, right? So we grab the list, we're looking at it. Well, there's no fucking stripper on here, no male stripper. So all my friends look at me and they go, Jeff, you got your fire gear on the truck? I said, yes, I do. This place was packed. I mean, packed. It was probably over capacity. And it was probably like 1,000 people on the deck is what it looked like.
Yeah.
So I go down to my vehicle. I put on my fire gear. My friend was bouncing the door. I walk up. He's like, "Is there a fire?" I said, "Yes, there is. I'm going to put it out. Don't worry."
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Put the girl on a chair in the middle, and I did a striptease for her. Let me tell you something. My tab was paid for that night.
That's awesome.
I think I paid all my friends' tabs too.
Oh my God, that's amazing. No, I if I was there, I'd be the one like,
oh, there was all that. I mean, everybody was watching, the whole place.
And girls are crazier than guys when it comes to this stuff.
So I went to a male review one night with some friends in New York, and I was like, you know what? I hear all these fucking crazy stories. I'm staying with you guys. I want to see this. I'm just gonna sit in the corner, but I want to see what the fuck actually happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fucking girls, man. You think guys are crazy and dirty?
No, I've been to these things. I've been to them. I've been to quite a bit of bachelorette parties too.
Oh man. Well, this was a male review with the male strippers.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy shit! I thought guys were like scummy, but Jesus.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it was funny. I talked to the promoter, and he's like, "Oh, here's my card," because he overheard me talking to one of the guys in the bathroom about what I do in Connecticut with strippers, and so that's it.
It's so
and then I've been working with strippers for like 18 years now. So
oh wow.
Yeah, I do stag parties, the bachelor parties.
That's awesome.
Oh, dude, we're writing books. Yeah, I know you're writing a book. We're writing a book. Me and my boss, like.
Oh, are you? That's awesome. That's
dude,
perfect. Oh my god, I can't wait to see this book.
The stories are unreal with like the girls and like the stereotypical like, oh, it's a stripper to like, dude, one of our strippers is a doctor, like in Miami now. Like. It's crazy that like, they're like, it's just a stripper, like, and
awesome.
Pretty much every party I go to, do they do extras? And it's like, no, they're strippers. You wanted someone to do that, call a hooker,
Yeah, call a hooker. I know. I worked them. I didn't do it very long. I did only one bachelorette party when I was a stripper. And that was fun, like just some lap dancing. I remember it was like my first time. I was like, I didn't even know what to do, but the guys were like, and it was, I don't know, it was fun.
It's good money. It's really good money. The girls, they make a killing every weekend. Like Saturday night, I did a show. We were there for an hour and a half, and they made like close to.
Wait, has it been since COVID and after COVID? It's still busy.
What COVID?
Yeah, with COVID.
Guys love tits and ass, all right? So when COVID started, it like when they did the lockdowns and stuff, we just stopped it anyways, just in case, like, who the hell knows? And then it was probably like, I don't know, 4 months after the lockdown that we had a show. So I worked the show. I had 3 girls with me, and we show up. There was like, I don't know, 8 guys in the house, and we all had our mask on, like, And then after that, I like basically was doing a show every weekend. And after like a month and a half, nobody was wearing masks, and it was just crazy. Oh shit! Speaking of which, tomorrow night, huge party. I gotta do it. Cool. This party is awesome. This guy just does a party like anything and everything you like. Any flavor is there. Black, white, Asian, Puerto Rican, you name it, it's there. Guys, girls, it's all there. And giant swimming pool, like just it's an awesome party. And yeah, like it's pretty fucking awesome. And I went with some strippers because they wanted strippers for some of the guys. And I was like, why are we even here? Like these girls, like you guys just did a twerk contest and like paid these girls $100 to whoever won. And I'm like, you know what? What are we here for? They're flashing their tits over there. Yeah. Like, whoop-de-doo, Oh, it was crazy. So I'm going back just to party.
But what is this? Like it's with the stripper? Like what?
So like
private party, a bachelor party, like
that one's just a private party, and they just wanted to see some naked girls. But like 99% of the parties, it's a bachelor party. The other percent is sometimes a Jack and Jill party, or just a straight up lesbian party, and they want girls there.
That's cool.
Oh, dude, those are the best. Like they're awesome.
We had like my friend when she got married, like I put on a bachelorette party at my house, and then we brought in my ex-boyfriend brought in a pool, poker table, so they were playing poker downstairs, and then they brought one of my stripper friends, like one of my friends, my model friends, basically. And she came in and she did a striptease, like she was a tall blonde, and it was fun. It was a Jack and Jill party, and it was so much fun. And then we did that for my bachelorette before I got married to Scott. I went to, like, my friends had a barbecue party at her house. Then we went to Brass Rail in Toronto, which is a stripper, like with girls, right? And my friends were buying me like the strippers were on my lap
dances,
dances. And it was the funniest thing because they gave me this blow up penis, like a blow up balloon kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then we were like touching people on the street with this big penis thing, and then we went into the strip bar and they're like, "You gotta check that at the door." And it was like the funniest. I gotta check my blow up penis at the door. They knew that drunk girls should probably like knock over people's drinks if I brought it in. Oh, it was a blast.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've been at strip clubs before, and usually when the girls come in, all the guys like throw money for them anyways. Like, it's like, hey, let's have them have some fun, fuck it. And I went in with one of my friends, and the bouncer came up to me. He goes, "Hey, just so you know, she's been here before and she's gotten kicked out." And I looked at him, I go, "Her? Like, out of all people, her?" He's like, "Yeah, she gets really freaky. She gets off the stage and gets naked." I was like, "Dude, go into your corner. I gotta see this." I was like, "How much do I gotta pay you to let her get up there?" Like,
oh, that's so funny. Scott likes going to the strip bars with me. Like when we first started coming here just on vacation, we found a strip bar, and so I went in there, and I'm on the stage, like it's like girls, and they all like love me, like, so I was like kind of making out with girls on the stage, and then we had this little bucket with a bottle of rum, and then the strippers were all hanging out with us. Meanwhile, the bottle of rum is like $10 US to us, right? But it's like a big deal to them here.
Yeah.
So, and then we're like, yeah, okay, we gave him some rum, and it was fun. And then he was just talking about it just today. Even we were walking back here. He's like, "Oh, I might go to the strip bar with so-and-so." And I was like, "You going to the strip bar?" And he goes, "Well, of course with you. I only go with you." And I'm like, "Okay, I was just saying because you didn't say anything." I was like, "I thought you were going out without me." And he goes, "No, it's a given. You always come. It's only fun with you." And I'm like, "Okay, you better."
So wait, a bottle of rum's only $10 there?
Yeah, you can get a bottle of rum for like I guess it's medium size bottle of rum, $10 US, and it's a big deal because $10 US is a big deal for everyday Dominican, but it's nothing to us. So like you get a bottle, and they give you a free Coke with it, and whatever. It doesn't cost much to get wasted.
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna say up here at the clubs, it's like a $200 bottle.
Oh yeah. Not here. Things are way cheaper here. Everything's cheaper here.
I'm on a plane. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
No, going down. Another thing is when I was still when I was doing more modeling before I moved down here, we came down to this American. He had this resort. It's an adult resort, and it's kind of cool to see it. I think it's called Oasis or something. Yeah. And it was really cool because you walk it, like you don't know, because it's just a quiet street, and you go in, it seems quiet, like nothing's going on the outside. It's conspicuous, right? So you walk in, and then it opens up, and there's this big stage, and like it's got a stripper pole, and then you got the bar, and then you go outside, you pass that area, and you go outside. There's several pools, like maybe 3 pools, and they have like hotel rooms. Just small hotel rooms, like they're kind of like motel kind of looking kind of homes, rooms, but bigger. and they have some hot tubs, and some are more expensive than others. And you get one room, you can get like, that room will come with 2 girls, that one will come with 3 girls, you know what I mean? And like, so it's a really cool, like, it's like a, you know, obviously prostitution, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it's really cool. And I did a photo shoot in some of the rooms and everything, and we had a great time there. And the guy said that his clients were like football players, athletes, like bankers, like from America, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So they come to the Dominican, get a hotel room, in the hotel room with a hot tub and whatever, and they get that one. I'll have 2 girls this weekend.
Yeah.
And he has the 2 girls stay there with them through the weekend, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to look at it when they're celebrity status. You want to go somewhere that nobody's going to be to follow you or know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's no official like resort or anything. It's like a special adult resort. It's really conspicuous.
It's adult rehab. Yeah, that's. Honey, I'm checking into rehab. I'll see you next week.
But I always love that stuff too. Like I'm the girl, but I'm like literally I'm always fascinated about that world. Like I'm fascinated about my own industry, let alone this whole like adult industry. I'm always like, wow, like what the guys have. That's neat.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, the difference between the fetish industry and like how mainstream and fetish kind of collided a couple years ago.
Oh yeah.
And like so now you were specifically a fetish model, but now as a porn star, and like let's say you were just a porn star, now the fetish world, like now you're in the fetish world, like it's combined, like it's great.
It combines, like it totally merges. Like don't forget, I did like in the same trip I would have done like either Reality Kings, Brazzers. I did Reality Kings, Brazzers, Jules Jordan, Evil Angel, Elegant Angel, and I did kink.com. I did Hogtied. I did Sexually Broken, which is one of my craziest shoots I ever did. So it's porn. So it's like sex, but with kink added to it. And that's so hardcore. And one of the most hardcore, best orgasms that I've ever had in my life was the craziest one. So I literally, like, I had a rope around my neck. Like, this is like near the climax, so like not at the beginning. Yeah. Rope around my neck. I'm getting fucked. All right. And I'm just about to orgasm. He puts his, like, I had to ask him what he did because I had the most amazing orgasm. And at the end I said, wow, what the hell? What did you do? That was the most intense but crazy but amazing orgasm I ever had. What did you do? And he goes, I stepped on the rope that was around your neck, which tightened my neck. Like it was like choking. Yeah. And I wasn't really like, you know, when you're really into it. So I'm not really looking. I'm just feeling. And it was like the craziest thing. So it's like breath play, but you can't just do, unless you're experienced breath play. But it happened where he didn't tighten anything, just waited till I was about to come. And then when you combine it together, it's like the craziest orgasm. I probably never like replay that again, but that was Sexually Broken. That's called Sexually Broken. And so it's like porn mixed with like hardcore kink and bondage. It is one of the craziest shoots I ever did.
So one of my exes, she brought me into the breath play world. And like, I was like, did I just kill this girl? Like, what? Like, you know, I put my hand on her neck, like, oh yeah, hey, you know, a little pressure, and she's just like, fucking choke me, and I'm like,
yeah, do it harder, because when you want it harder. Don't be rude about it. Just do it.
And I'm like, dude, I don't like, you know, you feel the neck. It's like, I don't want to crush any, like, I don't want to kill you. Like, I like you. You know, the sex is great. And so like, I had my hand on her neck, and she like pushed up into it, like, fucking choke me, and like. And then she passes out, and then she like, I was like, oh shit, I just killed this girl. Did I come in her? I'll see you later, you know? And then like she came back and she was like, fuck me. And I was like, holy shit, the demon's in her now. Yes. That was some good sex, let me tell you.
It's amazing. Oh my God. I know, right?
So
I mean, it's not an everyday thing. Maybe it is for her, but it's not an everyday thing for me. But it was literally probably the most intense. Like, I get it. Like, I mean, if it's done wrong, okay. Some people maybe not doing it right. So some people maybe just holding it there or whatever, but it has to be done right. Like, so it has to be, so when you're really into it, then you got to go harder. And then what she did, she passed out and then she was like, do it again.
well, then she came back and like she was hornier than all hell. And it was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I was like, this is the best sex I ever had.
That's awesome. That's fun. No, that stuff is fun. Yeah, I like it. I mean, depending on my mood though, because I'm a mood person. So if I was doing that, I'd have to be in the mood for like rough play, like not all the time. But when you're into it and when you really want it, you're like, doesn't matter. You can slap me across the face, grab my hair, just do it. Don't be a whip, just do it. Struggle, do whatever, And then it's like, yeah.
So going back to Fetish Con, was it my first year or second year? I think it was my first year. I met this girl, a local girl, and she's like, we went to one of the parties. We're getting shit-faced drunk, and she's like buying me drinks, and I'm like, listen, you don't have to get me drunk to take me back to your place. Her eyes lit up. She's like, okay, let's go. And we fucking
let's go.
She was just like, really? All right, let's go. I was like, shouldn't I be buying you the drinks here? Yeah, she like really wanted to sleep with me. So we go back to her place, and she had like a little mobile home there, and I'll freaking the shit out of her. And like this trailer is like, it feels like it's gonna freaking roll over, right? And like I'm giving it all I got, and she's like, fuck me harder. And I'm like, I'm giving it all she got, Scotty. Captain, I can't give it anymore. I was like, what the hell? I was like, this girl's, oh God, dude. I thought that trailer was gonna roll over. And yeah, crazy. Yeah, that's some fun times.
I lived in a trailer for like a year, so I can only imagine, like, because if you're not careful, it does move, and if you're going the way you're going, when it sounds like it, oh my God, I can only imagine. Was anybody like other? I'm sure everybody else can probably hear or see the.
Oh yeah, I think the neighbor came over and knocked on the door to like make sure she was alive and not getting raped and killed. And because she was screaming like bloody murder, you know, like, hey.
That's a big night when the neighbors literally like, are you alive? Are you okay?
So I think I was out in Chicago or Detroit. You know, met somebody, go back to the hotel room, having fun, and she's very vocal. And like the next, like later that night, fucked her again. And in the morning, we get up, we're going down for like breakfast, and one of the neighbors came out that we both know, and he looked at me and his girlfriend. She looked at me. She's like, "That was you?" I was like, "Yep." And they're like, "All right, man."
Hilarious. That's so
I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah, it was me." Yep. Sorry.
Oh my God. That kind of reminds me of like at the beginning of Tara Patrick, the porn star. She wrote this book. At one of the beginning, she talks about like how her and Evan or whatever the guy who's the actor that she
Evan. Yeah.
And that it was their sex was so much that the neighbor came over to make sure she was alive, that everything was okay, because they were totally screaming.
Yeah.
And there's like crazy sex going on.
Well, we can have a whole nother podcast just about my sexual experiences. Because let me tell you.
Again, like don't even think about, this is not the first time. We have to talk about this work. I love our conversations.
Yeah, I've lived a life that most people wish they could live. And
let's talk more about it. And I love talking about sex, and I love talking about hearing about stories and all your stories.
Yeah, it's it's fun. It's been fun. All right, so back to the ghost story here. I forgot to mention I was going down this path, but I skipped it. So I said I set up a camera in my bedroom. So I wake up 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock every morning. I've woken up to people knocking on my nightstand, the floor, and all that stuff. So I set up the camera. I wake up and like I have it set up perfect in the corner. You can see my whole bed. You can see the doorway. You can see the closet that's a mirror, so you can see the other side of the bed where the camera can't get, and you can see my bathroom. So I get up one night. I'm like, man, something like hit me, whatever, woke me up.
Wow.
I use the bathroom. I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch this in the morning. I watch the camera, nothing. So I was like, all right. A couple nights go by, and I'm just like, all right, what the fuck? Something definitely woke me up. Like, I'm not imagining it. I swear something hit me in the head. So I get up, I use the bathroom. You can see me taking a leak on the camera and come back. So as I watch the footage play back, you see from above my head, an orb come down towards my head, shoots down to like the end of the bed, shoots over to the passenger side of the bed, and then shoots straight up to my forehead, and then straight up to the ceiling. Right? So then you see me get up within 30 seconds. I get up. You can see me in the bathroom taking a leak. And as I'm taking a leak, this thing's zoom, 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 like, haha, got him, haha. And then as I come out of the bathroom, gone. And then that's it. You don't see him anymore. Because I watched the camera for like another 2 hours after that. There was nothing. And I was like, what the fuck?
Holy crap. That is insane.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like my bedroom's kind of quiet compared to the other one. And like right now I have a roommate that I rent the room out to. And he says he hears stuff every now and then, but he just doesn't pay attention to it.
Wow.
But he hears stuff, you know, and it's like, yeah, that room's where he died. That's it, you know?
Wow.
So, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good stories, though. Oh my gosh.
So,
You know, I wanted to tell you when you were talking about the shadow figure, I only saw. This is where my paranormal curiosity happened. Was when about 7 years old, my grandfather passed away first before I saw the shadow figure. And my sister woke up. We both woke up to hear my mom crying because she got a phone call and found out that he passed away. But she was already awake, and then she said, oh, Zeta died last night, which is what we called our grandfather. It's Hebrew for grandfather. He goes, oh, Zeta died last night, and Mom's just like finding out. And I was like, first of all, I was like, wow, I wasn't even like comprehending that she would even know. And she goes, he came to me and he sat on my bed last night and he told me everything's going to be okay. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, it was as real as he was right there. And I felt the bed pressed down and everything. And he sat on my bed. And this is like, we were both 7 years old. And he goes, he sat on my bed and he said, in the morning, you're going to find out that I passed away, but don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And that's like, I didn't know this till later. My sister and I were both adopted. And during that period of time, like she was adopted from Ecuador and she's like black curly hair, she's Hispanic, but you know, people would consider she's black, right? And so she had the kid in the school that was like literally calling her the N-word. And so she used to get really upset and she used to go to my grandfather. My mom only told me this a couple of years ago when I told her the story years later, right? About ghosts. And she said, oh, that's interesting because that's exactly what he used to tell her when she used to get upset after school. She used to say, can I go see Zeta? And Zeta used to tell her that exact same thing. So anyways, his ghost said, everything's going to be okay. And then he said, And she says, "How are you here?" or something. I can't remember exactly, but she was asking him, having a conversation with him. And he says, "When you die, you can visit 3 people to say goodbye." And he's like, "I'm coming to say goodbye to you." And I don't remember the rest of the story, but it's basically that's the story. And I said, "Oh, that's amazing." And I was like, "I wish he came to visit me," because I was like, "What the?" No, but I knew, like, you know what? If you only visit, we were in the same room, so obviously she'd tell me the story. So it's kind of like giving me the message. And my sister was always kind of sensitive, so I think she was sensitive, as in she probably senses more spirits. But after that, I don't know if it started after that or something, but around that same period of time, I felt someone was like watching me in the closet. Like when you're you go, "Oh my God, I want to close this closet because I feel like there's."
Don't worry, it's just me.
Yeah, somebody's in my closet watching me sleep. And it was so freaky. And so my sister and I used to argue about keeping the door open. She wanted the door open. I wanted the door closed. She wanted the closet open. I wanted it closed. So we had the exact opposite for everything. And so she always won because she was older. And then one night I looked up in the doorway. Like the doorways are, what are they, like 7 feet? So I don't know, 8
about
feet.
7 feet.
Typical doorway. But it was literally a shadow of a man, kind of in a top hat, like from the 18th century, like Jack the Ripper era, and a cloak, a cape kind of thing. So it wasn't like a modern shape. It was like Jack the Ripper kind of shape.
Yeah.
And all you could see is the light coming from the bathroom hallway or the hallway or whatever, the light right around it, but it was solid black, like blacker than if you just saw a shadow in the dark,
Yeah.
blacker than black. And all I remember is feeling so scared, like this thing is evil. First I said, "Is that my grandfather?" No, it can't be my grandfather. I would never be that scared for my grandfather because he's a good soul. And I literally threw over the blankets and I just went, "Please go away, please go away, please go away." And until I fell asleep, I guess. I asked everybody in my house in the morning if anybody came to my room. Nobody did. They were just oblivious. They're like, I didn't tell anything about this story of the shadow figure until years later. And when I was in high school, my sister and I had the conversation, and my best friend, Lori, and we all saw it at different times, this shadow figure, and I call it the boogeyman. Then I had the store, and I met somebody, and we were having this paranormal conversation, and he saw it when he was young, too. So it's like, must be like some sort of boogeyman kids could see or something.
I'd never seen that, but he's coming to take his children.
Yeah. So I watched this show called Dead Files, and she talks about shadow people, and she says shadow people, we don't know what they are, who they are, but she says they're not good. And she says she was scared of them when she was little, and she said that they can come and they can convince children to hurt themselves. Like, one of them tried to tell her to bite the electrical cord, and she did. And said, "Oh, we can come and play together," and as if it was her friend. And they can also smother babies and old people slowly. And she had this whole thing about shadow people, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But I think because I said, "Please go away," I put up some sort of boundary that I never saw any kind of spirit ever again. But now, because I'm fascinated about paranormal, I watch all those shows. I have totally many times, different times, caught like take a video camera, and I've caught like amazing orbs. Did you know that I went to kink.com? When I worked for kink.com, in the basement, I went on the tour. It was in the old armory. Yeah. In the basement, it's wild. Like, I wish I could go ghost hunting there. So they talk about how one room, okay, so we go downstairs is kind of like where they have props and all this kind of things like that you might use for the studio. Then you go past there, and there's this room, and it's weird because there's a creek going through the basement, the floor. So it goes from outside through the basement of kink.com, and it's like a little creek. It's crazy. And then this wall, they said, okay, they used to practice shooting there, and this is famous for that. And I took my camera. I don't even know where the footage is now, but I took my cell phone camera, and there was, coming from where the creek was flying different orbs, like the whole place down there, not everywhere else in the building, but down there. Supposedly water helps more energy for paranormal or whatever. And these crazy orbs, some were big, some were small. Like, it was like this coming from the bottom of the water creek. It was insane.
Well, do you know why that creek goes through there?
No.
That's where they used to throw their shit. Like, that was their urinals back then.
Oh.
So like old castles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why they have it near water and water running through it. So because they didn't have running water like us, so they would go to the bathroom and it would go down to the creek. And they wouldn't drink that water. They would drink the water from upriver. And that was it.
Oh, I never even knew that.
Yeah. So like, and if you ever see castles and stuff like that, you'll see the creek coming out of it, going through the village. And so throughout time, you never drink the water from where you go to the bathroom. You always drink upriver. Well, these people are upriver using the bathroom, and it's going through the village where everybody would go get the water. So like, and then you think about all the diseases and shit that would come out of there, and you never really think about that stuff, but it's a shitty situation.
It's a shitty situation. I never had that go through my.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they built castles and forts and stuff like that on water way back then, because they didn't have the running water. That was the running water to get rid of stuff.
Crazy, makes sense.
I'm actually selling my house now.
Oh, and, really? But do you have to disclose how haunted it is?
No. Oh, so I asked the realtor, and she's like, "Well, is it still haunted now?" I said, "No, I think I kicked them out." She goes, "Don't say a word." So, but I'm going to sell, and I'm looking at moving. I really want to go to Tampa because that's where I got the most friends. Tampa, Florida.
Oh, nice. Go to Florida. Yes.
Well, but like the problem is the housing. Well, that's everywhere. It's super expensive. That's why I'm selling to cash out. I'm going to make like a huge profit off it.
Good.
But I've been looking at jobs, and Florida area, like the housing has shot up so much that nothing's really affordable right now.
Everybody's moving there?
Yeah. And that construction costs, materials have skyrocketed. The neighborhoods you're in, you're on top of your neighbors, so I can't like go tie a girl up outside and have fun with her later. So they kind of frown upon that, well, except for that guy. He's weird. But so it kind of sucks because like the area shot up in pricing. Like a house that used to be 200 grand is now like 500 grand down there. Certain areas. And the job market for what I do for construction, I do site work, I run equipment. The pay is kind of like what I make now an hour for like top pay down there. Whereas up here, I have a job offer and I might stay up here because it's like $50 an hour. And it's like, where the hell else are you going to make that?
Yeah.
Unless you can get that kind of job down there. So
unless you just stay a certain amount of time, make your money, and wait for things to calm down with the housing market.
Well, that's just it. My buddy's got
go up and down.
My buddy's got a little basement he wants to convert over to an apartment. So I was like, fuck it.
You make your money with the house and you save it and you live like a certain way. I mean, like we lived in a trailer for a bit. So then you do that for a certain amount of time and then you go later on. I mean, Florida's going to be there. You just go during the right time, the right pricing.
Well, and that's just it too. And I actually considered buying a trailer and especially
it's fun, actually.
Well, especially down in Florida, like, you know, get a fifth wheel trailer and like travel to all these different places.
Do it. Do
And,
it. Like, do it. Oh my God. Do that. It'll be fun for a while.
Well, it'd be fun if I had someone else to go with. That's what I need to find, is that other person, you know?
That's true. But one, you meet people, and two, you could travel to different lots, different parks. And depending on where you go, you can get some good prices depending on where you go. Because we always got it in Florida, and you don't have to go to maybe the most expensive one. We were in Punta Gorda, and you can just basically, if you have the good thing, if you have a car that you can detach, like we did, we had the truck and detached it, then you drive it somewhere and you go blah, 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 whatever, and visit some friends, and then you go back to your trailer. You know, and they also have like in Florida, if we had to leave the trailer at one of those they have
storage
boats.
units.
Yeah, it's outside too. Like, and they have boats, they have trailers, and it wasn't that expensive. If you just basically, Scott will tell you which one it was, but we were mostly in I don't know, something like the Punta Gorda areas and all those kind of things. That was great. And then if you don't get the one where it's all together, get one where you can detach your car or truck or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah. Oh, it was fun. And then there you can even save money because the showers are so clean. If you ever want to use the showers, if you're at those parks, they clean them all the time. So you could totally save your money, like use the facilities there and save your money too on the shower and all that stuff. And they have Wi-Fi. You can get Wi-Fi. They have the pool. You know, we had fun. And then every once in a while we move to a different park, or we take the car and then stay, like, you know, at my mom's condo. But, you know, as long as you have the car, you can drive it around and just leave the trailer. Do it.
Well, that's why I've been looking for a job that I can do remotely. So I could just travel that way and just work off the computer, work off my laptop or something. You know?
Do it.
And then just go do that for like a year or two, travel in the country, like spend a month here, spend a month there, whatever, a couple of weeks here, and then be like
online, and you find some good places to put the trailer at. Like some places are cheaper than others, and some are really nice. Like when we drove through Kentucky, one of the nicest parks was this one in close to the horses, Kentucky
Derby.
Yeah. Oh, so stunning. But you know, it depends on where you go. In some places, expensive season, maybe if you go closer to the beach, that's going to be more expensive. But if you have the car, you detach it and you drive, you know, to where you want to go. That would be fun. It's actually an adventure. And don't think you're going to be totally lonely, because everybody at the park, they're always the friendliest people. Honestly, like I was walking my dog, I hung out at the pool. Everybody's really friendly. Like this is a friendly group of people, the RV people, and they're very, very helpful. So Scott had to fix something, there was a storm, and he was trying to fix the umbrella trying to go on, and people are just like literally there to help you. They're like, hey, can I help? And it's like a community. So if you ever went to those places, you'll find that they're very, very friendly people. And they also have like a activities area. So usually they have like a clubhouse, and it's not expensive. It's free. It's not any kind of fancy clubhouse. It's just like a building, and they have pool tables. They have where you can go play bingo. You can play cards. And they have barbecues, and they have a community thing.
Yeah.
You know, one time they had a parade with all these like golf carts, like these golf carts driving around the park with a parade. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I could live like this when I get older, have my little dogs. And like
driving around in the golf cart with the dogs.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I loved it.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's wrap up because it's 11:11. Make a wish. Make your wish. This is the best time to manifest. I just wished for you. My first instinct.
Uh-oh.
Give you what you wish. To give you what you wish. So
sweet. Hook her some cocaine. No, just kidding.
I want to do this again. We totally have to do this again.
Yes.
And if you want any kind of links or anything like that you want to share, just send it to me in my inbox, and I'll post it when I edit it. I'm not gonna do any crazy editing like I did with Nisa, because I had this. I posted like some model pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll post our links. But just our whole conversation, I could do this forever, honestly.
Yeah. I was gonna say we'll have to get her in on one. We'll do a 3-way with her.
Yeah, 3-way. Yeah, we can.
We'll do a 4-way. We'll 5-way. Yeah. We'll get her. We'll get Christina. We'll get everybody.
We can.
We'll get the whole gang.
Look, I want to build this up. I want to do this more often. I want to put up a video every week, and I'm going to talk to more people. I hope it grows. Thank you so much for coming on with me. I swear to God, I had a great time.
Thank you for having me, and it's good talking to you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Tell me when you want to do it again. Yeah, just
tomorrow.
Tell me when. Just
tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to do another person.
I gotta go to that party, but
yeah, exactly. And I have booking. I am doing a podcast tomorrow, and tomorrow, the Saturday, I might even have 2 podcasts. Is it Friday or Saturday? I have to double check my calendar. But I am doing quite a bit of my friends doing the same thing. But I want to do you again, so for sure. Even if it's just for fun and we just talk about what we just talked about, anything.
Yeah, we could have one talking about politics. We talk about strippers.
Anything. I love it. I can talk about politics, porn, and paranormal easily.
Porn? What's that? We're on a porn channel? What? You do porn? I didn't know that. So real quick, that's like the funniest thing. One of my friend's moms, she's like, Deernutz, did you shoot some porn? And yeah, and I was just like, why? And she's like, I swear to God, you're in this video. And I'm like, what's the name of it? And I'm like, what kind of video is it? And she like told me. I was like, nah, I wouldn't be in that one.
Which one were you in?
You made it when you go to search for porn and you see your face like with some other models like in the header. Yeah, I'm like,
that's great.
Man, what site is this? I never shot content for them. Here I am, like I'm on the header. It's like, okay.
That's what happens though. Like there's things that I was like, what's this site? I was like, I'm on this site because it just it circulates all over the internet, and people be like, yeah, I saw you on whatever site this is, and I'm like, I've never heard of that site.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the biggest problem though, is people stealing content, and that's always a problem. Support your actresses that you like, or actors, and that's it.
The good thing about OnlyFans right now, because OnlyFans are fans who are totally right now. I mean, he said we're talking about we working our OnlyFans. That's a good portion of my bread and butter. People will join because they are a fan, and they can chat with me. They can. I do customs. I do webcamming. I post tons of free stuff on the wall, and then they can buy my movies for around $3 to $4 and watch a full-on porn movie that would cost $40 somewhere else. You know what I mean? So the OnlyFans is good. The industry always merges. It changes around, and things change. Even it's going to all change with COVID and all that kind of stuff and the lockdowns. The whole thing is all changing. I don't know where it's going to go next, but this podcast thing, and I'm going to integrate it, somehow I'm going to add it on my OnlyFans. And
well, remember at Vegas, before COVID, they had a lot of podcasters there doing live podcasts from the show.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's always a possibility. And then I could be there, find my future ex-wife, and and I don't have an OnlyFans. I only bang. So,
That's hilarious.
So, but, well, good luck with that, and
Well, we're gonna do it more. And anyways, to me, it's like fun because I get to talk with my friends too. And honestly, I should have been doing this the whole lockdown because I'm having way too much fun. And, and I get to talk to people because it's like, God, why didn't I think about this before? This like we're just chatting. You know what? I figured like I only started discovering Zoom during the lockdown. So last Christmas, I went to Toronto and I was like, I saw my sister, but Toronto was locked down. So it's like, oh, I can't come and visit you, this, to my friend. And my friend's like, no, but we're going to do a Zoom call, a group call with a bunch of friends. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And I made a Zoom just to do it. And then there was like a whole, like, I don't know, like 8 people on the screen. And I was like, oh my God, this is fun. And I'm like, hello. They're like, hey, I haven't seen you in 10 years. And oh my God. And it was
that's
COVID,
awesome.
so I couldn't see anybody. And I was like, this is fun.
Well, that's why I like Facebook Messenger, like, especially for you being overseas or, not overseas, but in a place that's still long distance for a phone call.
Yeah.
That's where Facebook Messenger is great because you can do FaceTime on there.
Yeah.
So you can still do a call like this. You don't have to give out your number or anything like that. And people can still that you're friends with can talk to you face to face. And I like that because I don't have an iPhone, so I can't, FaceTime.
I don't have an iPhone either. I use that, and then I also use my WhatsApp. And
and then the WhatsApp.
But this is great. Listen, I'm going to give a message to all the ghosts that happen to have been around you in the house. Be good to him, or I'm going to come and get you because I'm full of bright white light.
Hey, they might give me a ghosting then. I might actually get a good night of sleep. No.
Look, if they're nice enough, I'll flash them. If they're mean to you, they get nothing. They got no tit flash.
You hear that, Bill?
That's so funny.
Thank you
so much, babe. I'm so glad I'm here with you.
It was great seeing you. And next week, let's talk.
Yeah, anytime. Listen, anytime. I'm just going to do those bookings that I have, like my friends. I got an artist friend. I got another person who's full of conspiracy theories, which I can't hate. I just I love that stuff. I love hearing them.
So while you're talking about that, did you hear that I just talked to my buddy today that's in the military, and he was telling me how when a new president comes in, they give him a 21 gun salute, which they did not give to Biden. They gave him pretty much what they do for international dignitary that comes in. They gave him a showing of that, whatever that is. So instead of a 21 gun salute, it's just they're saluting him and whatever, almost like a cemetery or like a funeral type thing. Like it's nothing major. It's not a 21 gun salute. He said Georgia now just found enough discrepancies inside their voting that changed the votes to Trump. So
somebody was telling me something's coming out of Georgia and it's going to be coming out soon. Is this what you're hearing?
That's what I heard, but I didn't look it up, so don't listen to him. And now it's a conspiracy theory.
Oh my God, but I like
so he was saying that if one more state finds enough discrepancies to change the vote, that technically speaking, Trump is the president.
What would happen?
That's what I said. I said, listen, even if they came out, they would do everything in their power to keep him from coming back. Like they would. He would sue, get lawyers, it would be a mess. It would be a nightmare politically and really for the world. It would be a disaster because here's an illegitimate president. And, I don't think they would have to let it get to that. But if they did, it's going to be a disaster. They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep him in there. And
oh my God, scary because they would go to their death. They would start a war.
Well, no, they would just send Hillary out. And it says, you know,
Hillary. Oh
And,
my God, Hillary.
this is your monthly reminder. Epstein did not kill himself.
Yeah. That's a good one. It's just like, oh, and by the way, Epstein didn't kill himself. You know, did you see like sometimes like on the media and the news? Oh, I loved when kids were doing that. They were just having a normal news person talking, and then they'd interview them for something basic, and then he goes, and by the way, Epstein didn't kill himself. And then they walk away. Like, oh my God, that's the best. The meme has come to life. That's crazy, eh?
Yeah. Oh, there's the Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, hey. So my friend had me write down a question for you.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Anything. I love answering questions. So.
It's stupid, but it's funny.
Okay.
Does cum really taste like avocado?
No, definitely. So can I tell you that I experienced one that was actually really tasty, and I was shocked because I had to ask him why. Like, what does he do? So majority of the time, it's almost like doesn't quite have a taste that I can kind of say. It's kind of depending on the mood, it can be kind of sticky. It can be like almost like somebody put some glue in your mouth and you're just like, ah. But you know what? Depends on the mood you're in. If you're in the mood, you just go, you know, I try not to taste it with my taste buds, you know, so then that's why I've only swallowed a couple times because I was having really into this shoot with this girl, and we were playing with each other and kissing each other and passing it back and forth. And that was a wild thing that I did. I don't do that on a regular basis. It was fun, but majority of the time I don't swallow it. I usually just go, and then let it be like that and barely swallow it and just kind of like rinse out after, but not a big deal. Not a big deal. Sometimes I swallow, but I don't really go out of my way to swallow. But one guy, it was when I worked for Brazzers, Johnny Sins. It was like, I don't know, it was almost like heavenly. I was almost like, it was this light, fresh flavor, very, very clean, healthy, no lumps. And I was like, and I swallowed and everything at the end. And I was like, wow, do you do something special with your cum? Because I never tasted cum like that. I never tasted it so fresh and clean. Like, is there something you take or you eat? And he goes, no, I just eat really healthy. And he's a really healthy, like, athlete. Like he eats really well. He works out. He has a YouTube channel and he's working out and diet. He's the whole thing. And I was just like shocked. I was like, yeah. So does it taste like that? Avocado, I've never even heard of that one. Never, ever.
He was just being a dick to get you going. So it worked. Hey, if you guys want me to ask questions for you, feel free to write them down and I'll ask.
Exactly. I love answering those questions. It's funny.
Oh, shit. That is funny. So, but, well, hey.
Even next week we could do it.
Yeah, you know, I'll ask some friends. Hey, I'll be on the broadcast, on the podcast next week. What questions do you have?
Awesome. For sure. I'd love to. We can even have guests on or whatever. You know.
Or, you know, I'll go on your page. I'll say, hey, listen, I'll be on her podcast next week. What do you guys want me to ask her?
Awesome. I love it.
That way I can get rid of the ones that are like, just, you know, show me your tits type shit.
Yeah. Sometimes people just say, okay, well, that's not going to happen on YouTube, so you can skip out those questions. Yeah. But
or like
lots of other things.
Yeah, the like disrespectful ones you get on there, and then you delete them. Yeah, like assholes like that. So that's one thing that I noticed before we go. So like you can edit this in a little bit, however you want. Sure. So like the biggest thing I realized being in this industry, working with fetish models, working with porn stars from both angles, mostly behind the camera, but also in front, is the fans are great, but there are some people that just push the limits. And
Yeah.
the same with the strippers. I had a great moment there. The same with the strippers, that they are people. So treat them as such. Treat them with respect. Just because they're out there acting doesn't mean they do that in real life. It's acting, just like she just said with that question about the cum. Even though that was a joke, like kind of funny, brighten up the atmosphere.
It was the first time somebody asked me either, but
I heard him. Yeah, but it was just a fun, innocent thing. It's not disrespectful in the sense that you're treating her like a piece of trash. And that's the one thing I've noticed over the years is some people have it in their head, if they're a stripper, if they're a porn star, you can use them as trash, and it's not true. And that's the biggest thing that I hate. And I just wish people respected people better. Just because they perform whatever your fantasies out in reality on a show, that it's still acting, it's a career, and just because they do it on film doesn't mean they do it in real life. And stop sending them dick pics. They don't like it.
The dick pic. I can't stand the dick pics in my social media. I can only do. I literally accept it for my OnlyFans or my paid Snapchat in my. But they've literally paid for my Snapchat Premium or my OnlyFans. Then it's fine because it's not negotiate. It's a mutual agreement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's when I open up my just yesterday, I opened up my Facebook page for my podcast, and because this guy made a comment and said, "You didn't answer my message yet." So I go to the message, and it's a big zoomed up picture of his cock, and I was like, "Oh, for God's sake!" So I block him, I ban him. I was just but you know what the thing is I couldn't figure out how to do it on that page. So it took me several minutes, and I'm freaking looking at this thing. I'm like, I'd like to just delete it, but I want to ban him and block him first, and then it'll disappear. And I'm just put on my message on my wall. Please do not say, I'll ban and block you if you send me it.
So listen, guys, if you really want to send her a dick pic, go to her Snapchat, send her $20, and she'll rate it for you. Okay? There you go.
I do all that stuff.
She'll tell you how small it is if you want to hear that, or she'll tell you how big it is if you want to hear that. You
gotta pay for that stuff or go on my OnlyFans.
But I would say pay by the inch, but it's not enough. So, double it or triple it depending on the size, and make her happy. That's it. Because if she's happy and smiling like that, she'll give you a good rating.
Yeah. That's funny. That's so
shit.
You're awesome.
I mean, if they're paying by the inch, it's only $1 or $2. I mean, it's cold out in the summer.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. But you know what? Sometimes people want me to say negative things about it too. So depending on who it is, they'd be like, can you tell me how small my dick is and that it's just horrible? And then I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever you want. I'm like, oh my God.
I mean, listen, guys, if you want to pay for it, you send her a little message, say, hey,
you choice. I can be mean or nice.
Yeah, we just say, hey, I want it mean or I want it nice. I can handle the truth or I can't handle the truth. And she'll be more than happy. Just make sure you tip her. That's all. Got to tip her before she rates it for you. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah. But
we gotta do this often. It's too fun.
Yeah. Well, next show we'll talk about the strippers. We'll have fun with that.
Yeah.
I got some good stories for you.
And I'll tell you I'll tell the story of how I got in the industry, which was stripping. So I'll tell you my stripping story.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Well, that was really fun.
All right. Well, you have a good night.
You too. Have a great night.
Tell your husband I say hello, and
I will.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye. And stay tuned for more fun, sexy, wild stories on Diary of Maxine X podcast. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for everybody watching and listening. And definitely tune in to all of our other shows coming up. Check out all of our favorite porn stars and fetish models that are on here. And enjoy the shows.
All right. Mwah.
Thanks.
Awesome.
job! Yay!
I'm going to take his greenie and have some better breath.
Oh yeah, that's cute. It's a beautiful dog.